If you like the story, you can support the author on Patreon. Link is in the description.
Chapter 43, Chapter 39, This is Canon Event. In the underworld, they say if you come across a guy with jet black hair, eyes the color of crimson blood that send shivers down your spine, and a face-shaped mask, run for your life. Make sure he doesn't see your face because he's got a photographic memory that will hunt you down to death. Hang tight, he muttered. Minoru could feel AI's arms circling around his waist as he signaled the horse to charge at the cows, running as if their lives depended on it. His lasso swung precisely, immobilizing the cows by their legs or neck. Moo-oo-oo. Perched on the horse's back, AI witnessed a cow halt, but Minoru didn't stop. He raced through the vast meadow. Minoru. Please calm down, AI pleaded under her disguise, unable to hide her worries. She tightened her hug even more, feeling his anger through the palpitations beneath her hand. I'm calm. He lied. When Minoru focused himself, committed to a goal, his sheer will propelled him forward, unstoppable even if an entire battalion stood in his way. He wouldn't rest until he achieved what he set out to do. For onlookers, students, staff, and guests, the sight of a silver-clad man in a black suit rounding up cows on a black horse was both weird and spectacular. Yanagi-sensei riding that horse. He's not just riding, he's doing it with someone on his back. Whispers circulated, leaving the red-haired Alexandra de Magritte in awe. How? Teresa's dogs have such teamwork with him. Alexandra glanced at Teresa, who was lost in thought. Teresa recognized it. It was the same as when she and 001 tried to break out and escape the Winter Palace. The way Minoru swung his lasso mirrored aiming a rifle or throwing knives. The way Gamma caught the lasso was the same as gathering gun ammo back then. As the cows were herded by 7 trained dogs, the sounds of hysteria mixed with the chase. The cows fell one by one as Minoru, with blood-red eyes, snared them with his lasso until their numbers dwindled, reminiscent of the sounds of men pleading for their lives. Teresa needed no further confirmation, she was certain of Minoru's true identity now. Dash. As they cruised in the taxi, Aqua and Director Gotanda couldn't believe their eyes. Minoru, Aqua's dad, and his pack of velociraptor dogs were on a cow hunting spree. Holy shit, grown-up baby. I had no clue your dad was a badass. Now I get why you're darn smart, Gotanda exclaimed, eyeing Aqua and Minoru in amazement. Aqua, unimpressed, responded, you could say that, they banned the live stream for acts of violence against animals. Aqua locked his phone screen with a sigh. Anyway, I'm just relieved they're all safe. Still, Aqua couldn't help but wonder about his old man and his mysterious background. When I watched it, it felt like an action movie. The way he rescued her and the kids, and the car roping skills were like something out of a hunter's playbook, Gotanda said, studying Aqua. Your mom mentioned his job before, but now I'm not so sure. Aqua, who the heck is your dad? Aqua closed his eyes, sighed, and replied, I dunno. He never gives a serious answer. He just claims he's Batman. Batman? What's that supposed to mean? Gotanda raised an eyebrow. Aqua chuckled, yeah, I'm confused too. Oh, and he also said something about, he's a genius, billionaire, playboy, and philanthropist. Mom smacked him when he admitted to being a playboy. I have to admit, that sounds like a cute couple's moment. Sigh, here I am in my 30s, unable to find a date, and my mom keeps nagging me about it. This is a tough topic for a toddler like me. And when are you planning to move out of Aunt's place? Grown-up baby, so you get me. Anyway, your dad has the potential to be a stunt actor and more. I guess it's like father, like son, hey. Gotanda mused as the taxi rolled on. Dash. In the middle of the meadow, cows lay trembling with their legs bound, leaving Minoru on Yuya's back. AI sat behind him with their daughters, and the dogs were on guard, just in case the cows acted up again. Minoru-kun, are you done? AI asked softly. Yeah, I'm done with them, Minoru said, locking his gaze on the cows. Meanwhile, the room was cramped as Ruby squeezed her face between her dad and mom. Despite the tight space, she could hear the familiar thump of Yanajin's heartbeat. Normally, he'd hug her out of nowhere, burying her face in his chest, a gesture that always comforted her. Ruby never refused it when something was soothing about feeling his heartbeat. Was he that worried about me? However, at this moment, the intensity of his heartbeat raised an unexpected concern. Ruby looked up at his broad shoulders, wondering. She had never imagined that her dad's usually calming heartbeat could feel so different. Did you both get hurt somewhere? Ah. Ruby glanced back at AI, I'm okay. Anya is okay. Minoru and AI felt a bit relieved, though they weren't entirely sure if Ruby and Anya were being completely honest. With the cows settled, Minoru felt many eyes on him and turned to see students, teachers, staff, guests, and even the higher UPS like CEO Sumiragi Rika watching him without blinking. Do you still have your disguise? Minoru asked AI. AI touched her head, I still have it. Good, sigh. This situation was entirely unexpected for him. Meanwhile, he did it. Kaguya looked at the sideline while holding Hidori, who was still gasping for air. Kaguya-san. I think she's hurt somewhere. Chika said worried. Yeah, I think so. Anyway, how did you get that cowboy hat? When I saw Sensei, I ran to the drama club to get this hat for me. Kaguya looked at Chika as if she were used to this. She's having a tough time. Shizuka bent her knees, eyeballing Hidori. Ah, this right here is the issue. Shizuka then unzipped her jacket and a gust of air hit. I can breathe. Hidori, feeling relief, goes, hi eek. But then passes out after sensing some ominous vibes from Kaguya's red eyes. Ugh. Kaguya was somehow irritated with Hidori's big chest. The four of them then noticed a fast movement that instantly halted. Briar. Ah. Senpai. What's wrong? Air. I rushed here because I was worried about something, but... You looked at the chaotic scene and Minoru, I think I'm here for nothing. Ah, it's all right, Briar. Shizuka looked at Yu's sad face. Yu felt useless once again, even though she was part of school affairs. She didn't do much, especially now when Minoru had taken care of everything. However, a screeching sound interrupted their thoughts as they all turned to a newcomer. Huffed. Huffed. Wait, what? What's happening here? Yu fixed her gaze on the handsome man in the dark blue suit, his blonde hair disheveled as if he'd sprinted a marathon. It was Lloyd Forger, hauling himself over from his post upon spotting Anya amidst Teresa's dogs. He couldn't bring himself to shoot the cows with her nearby. But upon a second look, Minoru was present, and the cows lay immobilized with their legs bound. How? Holy! Shizuka was confused at the sudden arrival of this man. Excuse me, is there something I can help with? Yu inquired. Lloyd glanced at her, calming himself. I'm looking for my daughter, but I think she's all right. He shifted his gaze back to where Anya stood with Minoru. I see Yu's senses snapped back to full alert as she noticed a cow slowly rising. Lloyd narrowed his eyes. It's the herd leader. He remembered this cow leading the herd to their current location. Shizuka shouted at Kaguya and others, students, Jigo. As she said that, the cow charged at them full speed. Shit. Lloyd looked at Teresa in the distance. If I shoot this cow, it will raise questions about my cover-up. But... He glanced at the two women and the frozen students. Can't be helped. As he was about to draw his gun. Dear guest, please calm down. As a teacher here, I'll take care of this naughty cow. Wait. Briar, it's too dangerous. Shizuka was right, it was too dangerous for women like them. Meanwhile, Lloyd was taken aback as she walked confidently toward the cow. Is all right, senpai. Feeling useless watching everyone work hard, Yu disregarded her manager's warning to stay low profile. She wouldn't stand still again while the people who always helped her worked alone. Yu quickened her steps, confronting the large cow. Moo! The cow prepared to charge with its horns, but then the human seemed to vanish, reappearing as it felt something poking at its body. With her two fingers, Yu stabbed the cow's pressure points, bringing it to an abrupt stop. She then soared into the sky, executing a backflip and landing with a murder expression. Bang! The cow made a loud noise as it fell once again. Screech! Yu gasped as she saw a black horse stop in front of her. But it was Minoru and the kids, seemingly saying, "Whoa!" She felt the same surprise mirrored by Shizuka, the unknown man, and the others when she glanced back. Yeah. It's not like that. I used to take yoga classes, and they taught me that pressure points can paralyze, so I thought maybe that might work on the cow, too. Waving her hands around, Yu made a silly excuse. Minoru dismounted from the horse, staring at Yu calmly, while Anya observed him closely. That's how some assassin stops muscle movement. Maybe, I was right about her. This person is an assassin. Anya gasped as she looked at Yui. Then, she caught another thought. This woman is Minoru-kun's colleague, let's see. That means she's the boss man's killer friend. Ah, see she is approaching. Anya looked at Lloyd as he approached the group. A/N. Looks like I'm fashionably late with this chapter upload, hey. Anyway, this volume's wrapping up, starting now, I'm gonna dive into his family since I'm all done with the world building. Creator's thoughts. Livis. Like it. Add to library. Comment. 40 comment. Vote. Chapter 44, Chapter 40, Love is War. Rise and shine. Word count, 3.3k. I kept rewriting this chapter until I couldn't take it anymore, but anyway, enjoy. He always keeps his sanity intact, not buying her silly excuse about a yoga class. Checking out the cow, he mused that this woman is cut from the same cloth as him. Quite impressive, considering the cow boasted thick muscles and fat, finding its pressure point wouldn't be a walk in the park. He knew the kind of assassin group that had this fighting style. Garden. He narrowed his eyes a bit. Why Yanagi-san? Minoru turned to Yui, her face seemingly awaiting his response, mostly due to nervousness. He flashed a small smile to mask his nerve-wracking thoughts. Put this aside, are you all right? Ah, yes. Yui played with her fingers, offering an awkward smile. Reading her body language, Minoru was puzzled about her objective here. Fortunately, he had her clothes on his radar. For now, he decided to observe. It's only a matter of time before her true intentions become clear, especially with other troublesome individuals present. Forger. Minoru nodded at the guy approaching. Yanagi. Forger nodded back, I'm sorry for the trouble that my daughter caused. Finishing his sentence, Lloyd smiled politely, but his thoughts ran deep. After years of investigation, I found out that Her Highness's dogs were formerly trained by Ruska Bratva. It's impossible to think that they would follow this man, which means he could be one of them or worse, maybe he's part of the Numbers. Lloyd knew the tales about the Numbers. The Numbers were an elite group skilled in combat. Rumors had it that these individuals were comparable to an army with a track record of countless kills in history. They spoke 30 languages, could enter any country like it was a public toilet, blend into society like normal people, and take what they wanted, including top-secret assets and the souls of important figures. Putting that aside, the world is lucky that these groups work individually. It's a scary fantasy to imagine them working together. I couldn't fathom it. At least they could disable and take down a nation without being traced. And about that man. The most legendary among them was 001, the man who had somehow spared his soul. He recalled that, because recently, 001 had taken Russia's top-secret files and killed the Luxembourg first prince in the US embassy. Because of that, the US would gather all NATO members to discuss this man alone, mostly fearing an individual surpassing US supremacy. Tough, they had a crazy fantasy, what if the man decided to visit the White House and click the button of the *King N-word? But it wasn't his concern, as he no longer carried out missions. I am a dead man, thought Lloyd. If that night 001 had pulled the trigger, maybe he would never see Anya again, and he was thankful that Eileen had cancelled the mission. Though why? What trouble? In fact, I'm surprised that Anya and Ruby brought a lot of help for me, Minoru replied, sensing that this guy was studying him. PSSST. PSSST. Oi, Minoru glanced back, seeing the woman. Hey, help me get down from here. Minoru's demeanor calmed down when he saw AI looking scared, sitting all alone on the horse, holding the kids. Sure. The people here from the beginning, besides Ye and Lloyd, such as Kaguya, Chika, Hidori, passed out, and Shizuka. And it didn't stop there, as Teresa, Alexandra, and Maki arrived, they immediately greeted by the sight of the silver-haired man approaching the woman with a hat, sunglasses, mask, and her purple long hair, holding 2 kids in her arms. Minoru was completely focused as he eyed Anya and Ruby. If I hold the kids with both hands, then I can't help her get down from the horse, he mused aloud. The girls at the back raised their brows in curiosity. Meanwhile, AI's face had already reddened with the stares and expressions studying her. She wanted to convey, come on. Hurry up. Well, easy, he said with a smirk. He took Anya first, and she lit up as Minoru placed her around his neck. Anya clenched both her hands and proudly declared, "Oh you I am Anya Sparrow," asserting her dominance on Minoru's shoulder. AI watched as Minoru took her precious daughter Ruby and held her in his left arm. She skipped a beat when Minoru looked at her with his amusing eyes, offering his hand. "Did you enjoy your ride?" he asked with a poker face, though she knew he was teasing her. AI sighed helplessly as she grabbed his hand, and descended from the horse. She was happy to have his attention despite the questioning looks from the other girls. "Who are you?" AI looked at each one of them, thinking, "Ah, I get it. My husband seems popular." But AI was confident and trusted his promise not to look at someone else, right? It was then that Chika couldn't hold her voice anymore. "Sensei! Please look here." When Minoru turned to them, carrying the children with him, it was the ultimate combo killer move. All of them blushed, mouths agape, and their internal thoughts screamed, "So cute." What is the concept of marriage? Metaphorically, marriage is the combination of two or more elements that create harmony. For example, caviar with potato chips, cat ears with a cute girl, and then Minoru with kids is a perfect and sinful combination. "CC, can I snap your photo? I mean, just one. Just one, pretty please?" Chika asked with excitement. Minoru was confused as he noticed the increase in the number of students compared to before. He looked at Chika and said, "No." Looking down, Chika held her phone trembling. Why? Chika eagerly wanted to capture the wholesome moment on her phone. Minoru hummed, feeling a sharp gaze on his back telling him not to do it. "No." Watching Chika persistently talk about the photo, the others began playing mind games within themselves. Unlike Chika's easygoing personality, they wanted to make their moves as discreetly as possible. Because their pride wouldn't allow it. "Now's the perfect time. I'll remind Sensei that he still has something to do. And I'll ask him to leave the kids to me. It's like telling these hormone-raging pests to step away from him as Shinomiya Kaguya still has a business with him. I don't want this, but for the sake of my revenge, I'll cut the weeds before they become a nuisance, like her." Kaguya chuckled internally, glancing sideways at Maki. "Ara, does she think I'm not aware of her dirty plan? How naive, Kaguya. This time, I won't let anyone take away my crush like before." Maki smirked, determined not to go through another heartbreak. "Whoa, this is exactly what I always think about when Anya stays at my place. I think I can help Sensei by holding them for a while. He must be exhausted, right? I just love Anya, so it's all right. I mean, if I marry Sensei, then..." Teresa brightened at the idea, sensing some competition on her side. She continued. "Well, as a good wife, I'll let my future husband have some concubines." Teresa, with strong noble blood, believed that Minoru would naturally become a noble, and having many women beside him wouldn't be weird. They would just be concubines and not actual wives. Marriage. Come on, Shizuka. This is your chance. It's like a letter from God that I can finally have a boyfriend and maybe a happy ending. Shizuka's eyes lit up with excitement. But there are a lot of competitors, hey. Sensing something suspicious, AI looked at the girls. What's wrong with them? Are they idiots or something? Look at Ruby. She got her father's hair color, and he's standing in front of you. Well, in the end, I'd win. Haha. AI was convinced of her victory. Yet, these women had brain cells that prevented him from having his harem because love is about obsession. Love is the embodiment of greed. Love is confusing, like politics. Sometimes you can get hurt, but you want more because it's so addictive. Love is war. Amidst that, Ya looked around and tilted her head, confused by the weird atmosphere. Then she snapped her attention to her skirt. No. What should I do? Right, let's change it first, but I'm too embarrassed. After that, someone handed her something. Miss, you can use this, he said, offering her a dark blue suit. Thanks. Ya blushed a bit as he smiled at her. She looked at him as he walked over to Minoru and decided to ask Minoru first if she could change her clothes. K, today feels like it's dragging on forever. Minoru sighed, glancing at the clock tower. With about 15 minutes left before the event started, he turned to Chika. It's almost time, get back to work, Fujiwara. Ah. Are I right? She walked back to the group as someone approached him. Yanagi, I'm sorry for the trouble. Lloyd apologized, flashing a smile at Anya. Anya. She. Handing Anya back to her father, the girls clicked their tongues in annoyance. Ahem. AI poked his back with her finger. Understanding what she wanted, Minoru nodded and handed Ruby back to her mother. However, he hesitated as Lloyd approached. How could he not hold his daughter when Lloyd was holding his? It's been a long time, Forger. Yes, it's been a while. AI observed them as she thought, what's with this sudden, competitive vibe? Looking at Minoru and Lloyd, she could sense that something was going on between these guys, and she figured out why. Ah. I see. Minoru-kun has this cute side, but it's my first time seeing him with someone else who has a daughter. This is interesting to watch. AI observed the woman with black hair in a dark grey suit and the same man at the pet day. Don't tell me. This woman is his wife. Ah. I see it seems I misunderstood something, but now it's clear who she is. Well, since they're both Minoru-kun's friends, that means I can have a friend who is a mother like me. Kai. I want to ask her about parenting. Yes, that's it. Maybe I should invite her to our house. AI nodded at the situation, but she misunderstood that they didn't have anything yet. I didn't know you were good at roping cattle. It's a rare sight, Yanagi. Did you learn it somewhere? Lloyd asked casually, trying to squeeze some intel out of him. Thank you. I've got a good teacher in my neighborhood. Minoru gave him a vague answer, aware of Lloyd's intentions. Ahaha. Lloyd laughed warmly, I guess I couldn't match you in terms of masculinity. Anyway, I'm grateful that you saved Anya, thank you. Minoru smiled just a little, wanting to say, don't foo *k with me, Twilight. I may have kicked your ass that day, but you're still a damn elite spy in this world. Thank you again. But frankly, I'm just saving my future in-law. I thought she'd marry her childhood friend, Aqua, someday. Minoru said with a smile. Anya looked at Minoru as he looked at her with a smile, don't misunderstand, Twilight. There is no such thing as free in this world. The reason why I kept you alive is so you can watch your daughter marry my son Aqua while I watch your poor face in silence. With that, she'll change her surname to mine and become my daughter, naturally. Maybe we could have a family trip someday and show her around my chateau in France. As Minoru contemplated his revenge, Anya gasped, imagining herself as the actual princess like what she watched in an anime. Kids are simple-minded as Anya raised her hands innocently, smiling brightly, ah. Anya wants to marry Aqua. She said cheerfully. Lloyd smiled awkwardly, imagining Aqua kissing his daughter in front of his foo *king face. Ahaha. Anya loves your dad, right? Lloyd looked at Minoru with a smile, though there was hostility inside. I think it's too early for my daughter and Aqua as well. Well, she'll become a woman eventually, and my nephew is a real genius. They still have a long way to go before something like marriage. Speaking of which, I hope Ruby will get a good partner as well. Lloyd countered. About that. I think the day she gets married won't come since there's no man worthy of her. Meaning he'll eliminate any men trying to approach his cute Ruby. I guess we're on the same page then. Yeah, we're not. As they laughed but remained hostile, AI had enough of their banter. She poked his shoulder, give her to me. Oh, here. Minoru gave up Ruby, satisfied with the Cold War. Lloyd glanced at the mysterious woman and thought, she's the person I saw during Pet Day, whoever she is, she must be close to Seta-san, as she worried about Ruby. Judging by her body language, both of them know each other. At this moment, AI tried to hide the fact that she didn't know Minoru and that her acting skills were average, so Lloyd could easily see through it. Yet, he couldn't find any flaws within Minoru. Yet, on the other side, Shizuka falls into a silent moment. Why? Just observe these folks. When Minoru hands a cute kid in an animal costume to a handsome man, Ya is chatting with a blonde while holding a kid. The other side isn't lacking either. Minoru is still talking with a mysterious woman who's holding the bunny costume kid he handed out earlier. Even though Shizuka can't see the woman's expression because of her hat, sunglasses, and mask, they seem genuinely sweet together. Then, why does she keep ending up alone? Sob. Sob. I'm heading home. Shizuka leaves the scene unable to bear this heart-wrenching sight. Poor woman, can't someone take her as a bride? Kaguya, Maki, and Chika share this sentiment as they see Shizuka leaving with tears. Clearing his throat, Minoru glanced at AI and Lloyd. As the head of school affairs in charge of this event, on behalf of the academy, I'm terribly sorry for what happened to these kids. Yanagi-sensei. Before Minoru could say something about taking responsibility and compensating them, someone elegantly cut him off. Principal Henry. Sir. In this case, I'm the one who caused this mess. Therefore, I'm the one who should be saying those words, Yanagi-sensei. Henry looked at the mysterious woman and the man. I sincerely apologize. He bowed 90 degrees. Lloyd smiled awkwardly. Please raise your head, sir. It's my fault too for letting my daughter trespass the school. I'm sorry for that, he said politely. AI just nodded twice, afraid of being recognized. Such elegant people. But, the CEO herself wants to pay compensation for this. No, sir. I'm all right if we could settle this matter peacefully. After all, my daughter is completely fine thanks to Yanagi-sensei. Henry nodded. If you change your mind, sir. Forger. Lloyd smiled. My name is Lloyd Forger. Henry looked at the mysterious woman as she said, Hoshino. My name is Henry Henderson, the principal of Shuchian High. This is my contact number if you need something from me. Both of them accepted his card. Then, Lloyd parted ways after a few words with both Henry and Minoru. Lloyd glanced at Teresa, nodded at her, and then left with Anya. Henry looked at Minoru, impressed by what he had done. Yanagi-sensei. Yes, sir. I'm glad that there's someone as elegant as you left in this world. I can rest easy now. With that, Henry left, leaving Minoru wondering what the heck he was talking about. As Henry walked away, it didn't stop, as there were students not far from here. Sensei. Minoru spotted a group of students, specifically Kaguya, Maki, Chika, Teresa, and Alexandra. The sound of his dogs panting drew closer. Oh, and don't forget about AI, she's still in the picture. What the hell is happening here? Phew. Just as he was about to unleash a string of curses, he caught himself, aware that his daughter was present. Not gonna drop an F-bomb in front of her. He glanced to make sure Ruby hadn't caught wind of it. AI giggled at him. She's out cold, don't worry. AI whispered, earning a relieved sigh from him. His family was safe, crisis averted, but that relief came at a cost, a heavy one. AI exclaimed as Minoru seemed to lose his balance, on the brink of a fall. Sensei. Everyone rushed to his aid, but a mysterious woman swooped in, catching him in a hug. Ack. Feeling his weight in her embrace, AI asked in panic, Hey. Are you all right? It was an odd sight. Minoru was never like this, and now he seemed a bit pained. Yeah, I'm okay. Still in her hug, he stole a glance at Ruby to ensure she was still sleeping, then slowly stood up. Thanks. He whispered. Fu*K. Fu*K. Shit, my ass. It's the Fu*King worst day for horse riding. When Minoru began to calm down, the insane adrenaline rush stabilized, and the pain he had been holding back hit him with a vengeance. If AI hadn't caught him, he'd end up in an even more embarrassing situation. As expected, having a wife is something else. Yanagi-sensei, are you all right? Teresa, with a mix of concern and warmth in her voice. He escaped AI's hug and faced her. I'm fine. Just stumbled over dog poop. Dog. She looked at his dogs. Ah. Right. Teresa then turned her attention to AI and the kid hiding her face in the woman's embrace. Kaguya, Maki, and Teresa pondered the mysterious woman hugging their sensei after his sudden fall. Who is she? And why did Minoru entrust that kid to her? Her body language suggested a close connection with him. Under her disguise, AI squinted her eyes at them, smirking at the sight. Oh well, that's cute, but I wouldn't share my hubby, cause Hoshino AI is a very, very, very greedy person. Tehi. AI asserted her dominance. An independent career woman who ran away from an orphanage in the countryside to Tokyo and struggled alone in the harsh entertainment industry. To keep herself safe, she gained insight to assess things around her. Minoru is a sinful man who always seems to go around saving women's lives. Of course, she's not naive. Minoru didn't save her alone in his whole life. Still, Minoru is a man with strong commitment. How troublesome, nay I want to scream that he's my children's father, but it's not the time to reveal that to the world. Well, let's finish that song and retire. Instead of dwelling on negative thoughts and jealousy, AI kept herself focused on self-suggestions, ensuring she wouldn't lose to anyone. She would shine as the brightest star for her husband and children. After all, she wanted to protect her family because she loved them unconditionally. The mysterious woman seemed to exude a majestic aura, leaving them dumbfounded. They wondered why this person appeared to transform into something else, something captivating despite covering up her identity. Then, excuse me. She walked away, her hair dancing in the gentle wind. Even though she was still figuring out how to be a good wife and mother, she left with the confidence that their young family wouldn't easily crumble when faced with obstacles, just viewing them as minor inconveniences. What a scary woman. Minoru smirked internally, watching AI's slender shoulders recede. But the job wasn't done. He glanced at the cows, now an eyesore. A/N. I wrote this chapter the best I could. I tried to leave some mystery about who this unknown woman was. They'll try to figure out who she is as the story unfolds. I think it would be dumb for Minoru to spill about his family since he's got loads of enemies, right? So, this is the best I could do. While I made him overpower, I didn't make him flawless. Anyway, what do you think? P.S. I might write another chapter for tomorrow and conclude the volume. And I promise, the plot will be more focused on his relationship with AI and the kids. Creator's thoughts. Livis. Creation is hard, cheer me up. Creation is hard, cheer me up. Creation is hard, cheer me up. Comment. 32 Comment. Vote. Chapter 45, Chapter 41, Students and Teacher. In a seriously bizarre turn of events, he found himself back in the company of his dogs after what felt like ages. And, you know what? Even without so much effort as a simple glance to the direction of the girl he'd saved in the past, Teresa was absolutely certain about his true identity. Life, as he knew it, was just a series of unexpected twists, never really going according to his plan. Sensei, Teresa said, giving him a shy look, as Mr. Forger mentioned, these dogs are mine, and I apologize for them trespassing here. I don't think Princess is wrong here, Sensei, they're the ones who held back the cows, Chika chimed in, defending Teresa with a cute pout. I agree, Sensei, Kaguya added, backing up the statement. Minoru closed his eyes and casually remarked, Mr. Forger has already clarified the chronology of those kids riding these dogs, and they've been really helpful. So, no problem at all. Thank you, Teresa. He glanced at the dogs, a wry smile playing on his lips. They're splendid dogs. Teresa blushed and looked at him, saying, thank you. But somehow, she wasn't thrilled that he referred to them as her dogs and not his. Her aide, Alexandra, sighed at the situation. She cast a glance back at Minoru, realizing her gut feeling about him being extraordinary was spot on. Teresa's sudden attraction to a stranger out of nowhere now made sense. As her best friend, she was well aware of Teresa's troubled past, and the fact that Teresa would meet her savior again here was just another odd twist of fate. Maki observed Teresa, wondering if she too had been saved by him, and sighed helplessly. Just how many women had this guy saved in his life? Perhaps that mysterious woman shared a similar fate as theirs. Sensei, Kaguya said, looking around at the chaotic scene, now what? Minoru surveyed the situation. The cows were still trembling and lying in a bind. He knew the farm's caretaker would take care of the remaining tasks. But why let them handle the cooking? However, if he kept outshining the students, it wouldn't be good. He needed them to cook as well, and there was little time before the event. So, he scanned his surroundings for inspiration and pressed his left ear as he asked, Shirogane Miyuki, where are you? I'm up here between the students watching in front of the auditorium, came the reply. Do me a favor. Could you grab a small amplifier? I believe we put it backstage. Right away, Sensei. Good. Bring it here to my location, and bring someone with you. Yes. Rico and the others, come here right away. Got it. After hearing this exchange, Kaguya wondered, Sensei, what will you do with all of that? Minoru glanced at her and said, I have a plan to bring back all the cows. Kaguya looked dumbfounded, hey, I mean, how is that possible? Not that I'm doubting you, sensei. But couldn't we let the farm caretaker do the job? Yeah, it doesn't make sense to drag them all with just this horse, you know. Yuya shot Maki a disapproving look. Hike. Maki hid behind Minoru, making Kaguya sigh as she politely asked her to leave. Maki-san, please go back to the auditorium. This is a student council matter now. Maki frowned. Wait. I'm not scared or something. And come on, Aunt Kaguya. Don't talk like you own the place. Seeing these two, Teresa left no room to stay and felt left behind. She wanted to stay after knowing Minoru was here, but as a princess, she had to maintain her dignity. Alec, let's go. With that, she walked away with the red-haired girl. Easy, Shinomiya. This is only a moment in your lifetime, and schools won't teach you about this kind of thing. Minoru smirked a bit. Don't worry, it'll be a good experience. He glanced at Teresa, and you too. Teresa stopped and looked back, confused. Yes. Could you two help us out? Teresa skipped a beat and smiled. Of course, sensei. Hey? What kind of help is it? Maki asked. Ah. I know. Sensei wants us to participate in San Fermin, said Chika cheerfully. Maki, Kaguya, Teresa, and Alexandra wondered what was up with this woman. It's not a big deal. If you're scared of dirtying your hands, you may go, Shijo. With that, Minoru left the group. Hey? Of course. I'll help. Hey. How rude to leave me when I'm still talking. Ignoring Maki, Minoru walked to a group of people, most of them with pink hair. Hidori-chan. You okay, honey? I am okay, Mom. Just tired a bit. I'm glad. Her mom sighed. Then why did you suddenly run from the cows? Did you do something wrong? Well, the principal already told us about that, but you didn't do something right. Oh, of course, why should I sensei? Oh my. Her mom gaped at this handsome teacher. Please pardon my rudeness. But it seems we need Gota Hidori's help here. My daughter's help? Her father asked, feeling weird. Oni-chan, who is this Eichmann? Your boyfriend? Of course not. He's my teacher. Minoru smiled a bit at this. Yes. We need her to play some music to calm the cow. Yeah? Sensei wants me to play music. Hidori paused for a moment, playing the guitar in front of this many eyes. No. She said while shaking her head like forever. Hidori-chan. This is your chance to show your talent. Dad will be proud of you if you do that. I am possible. That's right, Hidori-chan. Mom also agreed with your dad. Maybe you could make a friend with this. At her parents' words, Hidori turned into melting ice. Minoru smiled helplessly. It seems I put too much pressure on her. If she doesn't want to, it's all right. Minoru looked again at Hidori, but, can I at least borrow your guitar? Hidori pondered his words deeply. Isn't this a good chance to show people that she's working hard? To become the ultimate extrovert Gota Hidori, isn't that what she wanted? To gain friends and fans and maybe even start her own band? As she looked at the ground, her eyes sharpened, and she firmed herself, slowly standing up. Hoo-hoo. Her family said this word as they watched her heroine moment. She paused, clenched her fist. I'll do it. She said, unable to look Minoru in the eyes. Well, Minoru nodded. That's good. Then let's not waste any more time. Excuse me, sir, ma'am, and the little sister. Don't mind us, the mother giggled at this sight. Please take care of her well, sensei. And I mean it. Yes, we should be the ones who should thank you, sensei. My daughter will be performing, is this a dream? But Oni-chan seems to want to burst from her anxiety. Minoru nodded to them as he walked back to the team with the new member. When he came back, he saw that the students were waiting for him. Everyone is here, good, Minoru clapped a few times. Then let's get this straight. Your task is very simple. He pointed his finger at the cows. Just untie the ropes, and that's it. There was a moment of silence before they shouted, Hey! Wait! Isn't that too dangerous? Rika looked at the cows as she paled. And they look gross and smelly. You. As Riko finished expressing her honest feelings about the task, the others looked at the cows as they witnessed the cows relieving themselves after being taken down by the silver man with the horse and the pack of scary-looking dog-like wolves. Minoru facepalmed mentally. I know, but as I once said to Shinomiya before, it's a good experience. Let's be honest, shall we? You brats have been pampered too much with modern convenience. Tisk, tisk. Kids these days. Their faces twitched at Minoru's sarcasm, and he seemed to enjoy this moment. And isn't he too young to be calling us kids? The age gap isn't even big considering how young he is. Minoru continued. At least you should know where the meat you could easily buy in the stores comes from. Anyway, I guarantee that they won't do anything dangerous as you untie the ties. There was still silence. Sigh, it's just untying the bond. Nothing unusual here. I'll do that, sensei. The one who said that was Kaguya, and her cold words worked like dominoes. All right, Miyuki said nervously. Of course it's an easy task, right everyone? Teresa said as she encouraged them. Ah. Count me in then. Riko followed as she blushed at Minoru's little smirk. In the end, they all agreed on this. All right. When you all finished, I'll pull the horse that Gota Hidori will ride. He gestured to Hidori at his side. As she plays a guitar for the cows. Another silence at his idea. Kaguya clears her throat. How does that even work, sensei? Do you mean that the cows will naturally follow the music? If we use violence, isn't that more efficient since they are just animals? It was Kaguya who asked. Wait, everyone. Chika jumped to the front as she touched her cowboy hat. This method is none other than, the herding calls. She said with a face that seemed to know it all. Herding calls. They all said together. Chika smirked at their reaction. Yees, let me explain first. When the cows hear the mew. Oh. Ishigami, you're the one that Shirogane brings, hey? Thanks for coming here. Minoru ignored Chika, as he didn't expect him to be here. Ah, it's nothing. The president asked me for help, and I'm chill with it. Looking at this sight, the boys just continued to talk as they ignored Chika. Ah, Moe. Don't ignore me. All right, all right. Thankfully, we have boys here. If you're struggling, just ask them for help. Minoru said that made Chika pout hard at him, but Minoru continued since time was ticking. You all could start now. Yes. Dash. Meanwhile, Hidori also fought her anxiety. I'll play on this horse's back. Hidori peeked at Yuya. No. That's impossible. She waved her hand fast, refusing the idea. Well, there's no other choice. Unless you want to play it while you're running from the cows again. Hidori averted her gaze awkwardly as she asked, then what about you, sensei? I'll walk by your side while leading the horse, he said, showing her the horse's lead rope. Hidori looked at the big crowd that seemed to be looking at her, she began to feel the big pressure on her shoulders. And she began to doubt if she could do the job well. Talk to me, Gota. Hidori was dazed for a moment. Sensei, the truth is I am scared of people. Well, me too, Minoru tied the amplifier to the saddle. What's important is how we deal with that anxiety and move forward. Just as you mentioned in the forest, you honed your skill because of that reason, right? That's right, WWA wait. PPP please forget what I said back then. Hidori seemed ready to die because of the things she said back then. That seems impossible, but I'll try not to think about it. Anyway. When he was done tying, he looked at her and then smiled. Wanna hear my secret about killing your anxiety? Hidori widened her eyes as she was curious about it, then she nodded slowly. Minoru tapped her shoulder. Don't think, just do. Just forget everything and focus on your own thing. Don't think. Hidori tilted her head. Just do. He nodded. Yeah. With your skill alone, you can do this with your eyes shut. What he said were simple words, but they caused a big push for her. Maybe he's really a fan of her, right? He, my fan, he. This girl is really interesting. Anyway, what kind of music are you going to play? Dash. Karen, where live now? Shuchian TV had faced a ban due to concerns about Minoru's activities violating YouTube's policy on animals. But now, they were back, covering an event unfolding before them. We're still figuring out their intentions, but it looks like the student council, with help from other students, is freeing all the cows. And what's the deal with freshman Gota Hidori and her guitar? Is she about to play some music? We're about to find out. The live stream had just started, but the viewer count already hit 1 million. Viewers were eager to see what happened after the previous cliffhanger that led to YouTube's ban. Sensei. We're done. The camera captured a pink-haired girl with bow ties on her forehead. Another pink-haired girl in a running jacket sat on a horse, while a silver-haired man stood next to the horse, holding its lead rope. A violin melody emerged, amplified and tied to the horse's saddle. Recognizable as the intro of a famous piece, the audience collectively wondered, canon rock. The girl with long pink hair began playing her guitar. The first chords triggered excitement through the meadows. Melody, with fingers dancing on the strings, turned the meadows into a music stage. The cows stopped trembling as the music reached their ears. Look at that! The cows are awake. They're approaching the guitarist. Drawn by the music, the cows circled Hidori, creating a scene akin to people gathering at a street concert. Oh wah! Hidori was momentarily scared, but Minoru reassured her, easy, you're doing a good job. They're here because of the music. Let's go, Yuya. Minoru signaled for the horse to start walking, and to everyone's surprise, the cows followed the guitarist playing canon rock on the horse's back. Oh! The cows are following them. I think she reminds me of Guitar Hero. Ah! Yes, yes. I remember now. That guitar and that pink jacket. She's the one. That channel. Guitar Hero. Bonsai. Guitar Hero. Bonsai. Good job, guitarist. You're so cool. The students cheered, parents smiled, and the internet buzzed again. The crowd applauded the students and teachers who had worked hard to resolve the situation. Henry, witnessing this, was amazed and at a loss for words. Elegant. What incredibly elegant leadership. Yanagi-sensei stopped the problem but saw it through to completion and worked collaboratively with the students. Minoru, fulfilling his role as an educator, involved students from diverse backgrounds. He even enlisted the help of the Princess of Luxembourg, Shinomiya, and Shijo to untie the cows. Anyhow, together, they succeeded in returning the cows to their rightful place. On the way back, riding the horse at a moderate pace, Hidori held her guitar between her and Minoru. Hey-ya! Hidori sighed, having had enough socializing for the day. Today was unexpected, she only wanted to get back to her room. Suddenly, the blinding sun entered her vision, and she widened her eyes at the noise ahead. The crowd cheered as they approached. Well, I guess they're waiting for you, said Minoru, slowing down the horse as people formed a line on both sides. Hidori was surprised. They're waiting for me. Minoru didn't answer and let the crowd speak for him. You're so cool, Guitar Hero. Let's be friends. Join our club, please. Look here. Oh okay. Hidori gasped, not knowing what to do. SSE-sensei. What should I do? Just put on a smile and wave Gota, said Minoru, waving as the horse walked proudly through the crowd. Smile and wave. Why yes. Hidori managed an awkward smile for them. And despite her fatigue, she smiled at Minoru, grateful for meeting someone who encouraged her to move forward again. Creator's thoughts. Livis. Ho ho ho. Merry Christmas. Like it? Add to library. Have some idea about my story? Comment it and let me know. Comment. 32 comment. Vote. Chapter 46, Chapter 42, The Aftermath. Minoru's POV. I'll have to decline the offer, ma'am. What the hell is happening, you ask? Well, let's keep it simple. Henry's feeling guilty about today's mess and wants to quit as principal, and he's throwing my name into the ring as his replacement. The CEO even offered me the position. It's not impossible since I'm capable, but the catch is that it's all because I rode that horse. Right now, it's just me, the CEO Sumiragi Rika, after she kicked out Henry and that woman named Sae. Please forgive us if our offer seems inappropriate, Yanagi-sama. But you can relax and let the Sumiragi family serve you now. She says this as she bows, making her melons jiggle. Yeah, they're 106, and my photographic memory is etching that for good. Please, raise your head, ma'am. My concern does not lie with the treatment I receive, as I find the provisions from the academy more than adequate. To begin with, I am present to fulfill my role in teaching and to glean knowledge from the students. And I assumed the responsibilities of the school affairs role after the passing of Swan Sensei, as I moved by a sense of duty to assist the school. I pause my spiel and lock eyes with her. I respect this school and its founder. I'm honored to have ridden the general's horse. But it feels like too much for me, given that I am merely an employee here at the academy. And please just call me casually. Honestly, I don't give a shit about this. It's a tempting offer, and Rika just mentioned arranging a good place for me, with her daughter becoming my maid. Does she not care about her daughter attending this school? For God's sake, while I'm still Batman. I'm a family man now, got it? Who the hell set me up in this hentai plot? 'Cause my life should be more wholesome. Ah, I see, she says with a smile, seemingly not wanting to push her offer. She continues, the truth is, I'm interested in you, Yanagi-san. Shijo Makoto asked me to look after you, and it seems futile. You're more than capable of being a professor, as I've received emails from foreign universities like your alma mater, Oxford. They congratulated me for snagging the famous Professor Moriarty. Not a surprise for me. They must know where I am now, and they'll come for me. Annoying. I'm sorry for the trouble, I say. She giggles, no trouble at all. It's an honor to have you working with us. But now, I feel immense pressure to have a professor of your caliber teaching in our high school, considering you could be elsewhere. That's why the principal position might still be nothing for you. I nod and say, I'll take that as a compliment, thank you. As she drops her cup, she smiles again, ah, look at the time. I hope I can hear your suggestions for the next principal if you have someone in mind. Unfortunately, Professor Moriarty still has a homeroom class to attend. If you need anything, Professor, call me anytime. Thank you, I nod as I remember something. Actually, I have something in mind. Exiting the principal's office, I was met with curious stares from students and a few teachers who regarded me with a mix of awe and a hint of fear, perhaps due to my poker face or the rumored feat of single-handedly roping 21 cows. It's Yanagi-sensei. Why is he coming out of the principal's office? Are you an idiot? He's the new head of school affairs. What? When he's a new teacher? Didn't he ride that horse Yuya, remember? Ah, if he just left the principal's office, does that mean he's our next principal? Their hushed whispers followed me as I strolled past. If looks could confirm, I'd be Severus Snape, but that was all part of the plan. About my mission. My success rate had exceeded expectations, and now, I held sway over this academy. Sumiragi Rika listened to my suggestions, well aware of my other name, James Moriarty, and the leverage I had with Excalibur. No one dared stand in my way now, not even SAE, my other obstacle. When she witnessed my unexpected triumph with the horse, I could see her descent into the abyss of despair. But, I had plans for her. She could be a useful tool if I manipulated her correctly. Whoa, aren't you Yanagi-sensei? Upon reaching Class 2A, a girl was casually leaning against the wall, playing with her phone. She then looked at me, winked her eyes many times and asked, if you're here, you're our homeroom teacher, right? Yes. She giggled, okay. And look at the time, sensei. You're 10 minutes late. You should hurry up and start the class since I'm bored. With a playful push, she ushered me into the room. Judging by her appearance, she was none other than Hayasaka Ai, this guru cleverly concealing her role as Shinomiya's personal maid, my target. It might sound like something a stalker would say, given my line of work, but I knew she was gathering information about me. I didn't appreciate it, but there wasn't much I could do. Hey. She swung the classroom door open with excitement. I found our homeroom teacher. Guess who it is? Tada! It's Yanagi-sensei. As I entered, the class fell into stunned silence. Third POV. Minoru strolled confidently to the class podium and surveyed, casting a glance at each student in his homeroom class. Sensei. A hand shot up, and Minoru let out a small sigh. Yes. I want to volunteer as the class rep. Said cheerfully, the girl with short light orange hair and a bunny ear-shaped ribbon, clearly expressing her enthusiasm. All right, then it's settled, Minoru said calmly. That fast? She was clearly surprised. Aren't we supposed to have an election? Maybe someone else wants to do it. She twirled her fingers, voicing her concern. Well. Minoru glanced at the students. Does anyone want to challenge her? The students exchanged glances, but it seemed no one was up for the task. Minoru turned back to the girl. Okay. It's official then. Congratulations, class rep. He she rubbed her nose with pride as she headed to the blackboard to write her name. Ahem. I already said my name, but since sensei is late. I'm Nakano Yotsuba, your new class rep. Everyone, please take care of me. Applause erupted from the students. Minoru found Yotsuba intriguing, not just because she was the daughter of a famous doctor but also because she was one of the quintuplets. Being a father of twins himself, this was particularly interesting to him. Then, a tomboyish girl raised her hand. But, sensei. Why were you late? Minoru smiled, well. I crossed paths with a black cat, so I had to take another route. That's a lie. Ah. I wanna go home and practice karate. He earned obvious stares for his black cat excuse. Since you all understand your class assignments, let's skip the boring stuff. But, our class rep needs at least one person to assist her. He looked around. Then, I'll choose someone since you all seem to prefer being passive. You, the guy in the protagonist's seat. Minoru pointed to the corner. The guy turned away from the window, meeting a sea of stares. Me. Sensei, you're not kidding, right? Yotsuba tilted her head, and he nodded. I'm concerned, at least, you need someone with a big brain. Yotsuba nodded with a smile, who? I guess you're right that I'm quite stupid. Wait sensei. Don't sigh at me like that. Laughter erupted at Minoru's reaction. Then. Yotsuba turned to the guy, Ito. What's your name again? I thought you all introduced yourselves while I wasn't here. Yotsuba glanced at Minoru again, of course, we did. But I just forgot his name. Minoru looked at the guy in the protagonist's seat. The guy returned his gaze with half-open eyes and said, Ayanakaji Kiyotaka. Ah, yes. That's it. I remember now. Yotsuba wrote his name beside hers. All right, since this is our first day. Minoru grabbed a sheet, I'll check your attendance before we all go home. Stop. Stop. Sensei, you forgot to introduce yourself. At Yotsuba's words, he said, well. I'm Yanagi Minoru. Silence followed his simple introduction. Ahaha. Minoru looked at the girl with light pink short hair who had the same face as Yotsuba. Sensei, how about telling us what you like and don't like? Like your hobbies, for example. We did this when you weren't here yet, you know. She said, smiling broadly. Minoru hummed, I have so many things I like and don't, and my hobby is cleaning. Is that helpful, Nakano? Her smile twitched at Minoru's half-assed answer, really helpful. Wait, how did you know my name? I guess that's because it was my job. Ahaha. Don't worry, this Oni-san is just joking around. Fair enough. Any other questions? Sensei. Do you work out? The tomboyish girl who had asked before chimed in again. Yes. The girl's eyes sparkled as she exclaimed, whoa, it's my first time seeing a teacher this ripped. Even the PE teacher isn't as good as you. She smirked, Sensei. Let's do an arm wrestle. Looking at this, the girl seems not to be thinking too much about skin touch between the opposite s*x, unlike most girls in this country. Well, that's interesting. Let's do that later. Yeah. Now, that's what I'm talking about. She nodded, crossing her arms. After that, he felt a guy's dagger-like stare, but he ignored it. If there are no further questions. He glanced at the sheet, Shinomiya Kaguya. Present. Hayasaka AI. I'm here. Teresa de Luxembourg. Present. Alexandra de Magritte. Present. Kajino Cid. He directed his gaze at the person. Yes. Noted. He made a mental note to talk to this individual later. Nishino Akane. I'm present. Sakura Jimamai. As he asked, silence enveloped the room. He scanned for her and found an empty seat. Does anyone know why she's absent? Instead of answering, they gave him a weird look. Sensei, I'm present. He looked at Akane. I'm not talking about you. I mean Sakurajima Mai. She tilted her head, giving him a perplexed look. Well, I'll see her tomorrow. Next. Yukinashita Yukino. Yes, present. Ayunakaji Kiyotaka is here. Then. Nakano Ichika. Yes, I'm here. Nakano Nino. P present. Nakano Yotsuba is here, then. Nakano Miku. Ah, yes, Jean. Kirisaki, did you say something, Nakano? Which one, sensei? Said Yotsuba. It's Nakano Miku. He looked at the girl with blue headphones. Ah, no. She averted her gaze from him. Then. Kirisaki Kaidoji. I'm present. Ichijo Raku. He stared at him. Ah. Present, sir. Chill. Next. Onodera Kozaki. Yes. PR present. Sugamisei's hero. Present, sir. Seioki Tokihara. I'm present. Aizawa Tomo. Present. Don't scream. Next. Kubota Junichiro. Present. He said while maintaining his dagger-like stare. Gundu Misuzu. Present, sensei. Olston Carol. Carol is here. Minoru cleared his throat. Raiju Momo. Present. Don't forget to keep your promise, Raiju. Don't worry. After that, the students wondered about what they both meant. Komi Shauko. Komi ah. When he looked away from the sheet, he saw a girl raise her hand. Tadano Hito. I'm present, sensei. Lastly, Ozuna. Jimmy. Always present. Very good statement, and that's it for today. After all of that, Minoru wasted no time packing his things. He apologized to Yu for breaking his promise about drinking at izakaya. Thankfully, he had only shared this idea with her alone and hadn't mentioned it to the student council yet. But, he didn't expect her to want to cancel their plans too. Yanagi-san, actually. I have a sudden plan, my family is visiting me. So, I'm sorry. But we could arrange it another time this week. Ya excitedly said that as she clenched her fist, but she couldn't reveal that she just got a fake boyfriend that she met after taking down the cow. She was about to deceive her little brother into thinking she had a boyfriend now. Then, I worried for nothing. I'll see you tomorrow, Briar-san. Yes. She smiled as Minoru walked to the parking lot. When he arrived, he met again with the chief of the farm. Thank you for doing this for me. No, sir. I'm glad for doing this since you've been helping us too much. He bowed, thank you. After a brief conversation, he left, leaving Minoru with a lot of boxes. He opened them, smiling as he discovered his family dinner. A/N. That concludes this volume. Thank you for reading this story, and please don't forget to give me your feedback. Spoiler, Chapter 43, Father and Daughter. Creator's thoughts. Livis. Like it. Add to library. Comment. 31 comment. Vote. Chapter 47, Chapter 43, Father and Daughter. When she woke up, Ruby felt the warmth and fluffiness of the blankets, staring at the familiar ceiling of her room. Since when? The last thing she remembered was the calm embrace and the sight of Anya's father talking with him. She hadn't paid much attention as she wondered about her current state. Uselessness and the fear of being abandoned by her past family still haunted her, even after what she had witnessed and experienced. Sitting on her bed, she glanced to her left. The sky was a little red, not too late. For a month now, she had the view of Tokyo Tower outside her window, a sight she never imagined. Looking ahead, she noticed a bookshelf attached to the wall, belonging to Aqua. Ruby rubbed her eyes, half expecting to wake up from this dream. Living as the daughter of an idle mother and a father with a mysterious job, too kind and rich for her common sense, was surreal. She didn't understand it. Unlike Aqua, who seemed smarter and better in every way, she felt like a useless child. However, on this particular day, both of her parents rushed to save her. Ai hurried to her side, not caring about cows chasing her, while Yanagin went out of his way to rescue them in a dangerous situation. He risked himself for her, Anya, and Mama, and she found herself worrying about him, fearing he might be hurt. So, why did both her parents still go to such lengths to save her from the problems she caused? Determined to find answers, she hopped out of bed and went to look for AI. In the living room, she overheard Mama talking with Mia-iman and Ichigo. Peeking her head in, she saw Ichigo touching his forehead, clearly worried. AI, why did you do something reckless? It's kinda reflex, you know? When we arrived, I couldn't help but get out of the car and look for my daughter, AI shrugged casually. But, AI. Ichigo sighed. I'm concerned about Ruby, but now I'm concerned about you too. You and your boyfriend. Husband, AI cut him off. Yet. You and your husband are way too flashy, Ichigo said, glancing at the TV. Ichigo, there's still a lot of media in front of the studio. The rumors are going wild now, what should we do? Miyako expressed concern. Hearing this, Ruby began to pale. As expected, this mess was because of her. You're awake. Kyaa. Ruby shivered as she heard that. Aqua, you scared me. Ruby. Someone called her again, rushing toward her. AI hugged her, asking, how are you feeling now? Did you get hurt? I'm okay, and sorry. AI released the hug and saw her tearful eyes. She quickly smiled, patting her head. Ah, you overheard what we were talking about, right? It wasn't your fault. But... Ruby clenched her t-shirt. Because of me, Mama's career will be in great danger. Sob. Sob. It's alright, as time passes, the rumor will probably die down. Ha! What can we do about it? Mama and Papa's charm is just too good, right? AI reassured. Ichigo sighed, adding, well, what your mom said is true. All we can do for now is stay low-key and kick them from our new studio's front door. You don't have to burden yourself with adult problems, Ruby. What's important is that you came out in one piece, Aqua added. Sob. Ruby wiped her tears, relieved that her worried family prioritized her safety. But, will Dad be angry at me for disrupting his work? AI giggled at her question, haha. I think he won't get mad at something like this. I bet he'll do the opposite, you know. Ruby looked at her, confused, the opposite. As she asked, the penthouse elevator rang, announcing that someone had just used it. Ruby turned around and saw Yanagin running and panting like he had just run a marathon. The others thought the same as her, but he seemed genuinely worried. Ruby. He said as he came to a halt, then knelt, holding her shoulder tightly. I'm sorry for being late, but Dad is here now. Are you hurt somewhere? Tell me honestly. AI giggled at the sight, as she expected it. I told you, right? Ruby's eyes reddened again, but she held it well. I am fine. No, you're not. Your mom must have bribed you. You can tell me if you felt something bad in you. AI stopped giggling as she pouted, offended by it. Minoru-kun, if you don't believe me, we just bring her for a checkup, you know? And the doctor said she's very healthy. But if you hold her like that, she might get hurt, you know. Minoru let go of Ruby and looked at AI, which doctor? Did you pick the best one? AI nodded with a smile, of course. His name is, She thought hard, eyes shut, before giving up, what's his name again? Miyako sighed, his name is Nakano Maruo. Ha. I guess I still can't remember others' names that well. Seeing her like that, Minoru just let her be as he picked Ruby up in his arms. If that's what happened, then I'm glad a bit. But we should hear a second opinion. Look, Ruby. I'll call my doctor acquaintances in Europe to check you up, alright? If that's not enough, I'll prepare a private jet. You don't have to. And I feel no different than before. So, don't do that, Ruby said, feeling that it was too much. You sure about that? But, I'll call them anyway. At his words, Aqua sighed, feeling that Minoru was doubting the local doctor. I'm fine. Ruby's face turned red at his persistence. And I'm sorry for what happened today. The truth is, I was mad for being a failure since I couldn't even dance as well as Mama. So that's why I ran away from dance class. Look, Ruby. Minoru sighed as he continued, it was my fault if you're hurt and I won't forgive myself if you're hurt because I'm irresponsible in caring for you. And don't stress yourself for not being perfect. I won't neglect you even if you're not a genius or a perfect human. I like my daughter the way she is, and that's enough for me. At his words, Ruby's eyes teared up again since she had never heard this before, even in her previous life. She felt something pressing, and it was AI hugging them both, apologizing for not being a good mother. Meanwhile, Aqua just smiled at this sight, knowing that Ruby was in good hands now. Why are my eyes sweating, Miyako? Said Ichigo. I don't know, but I feel we should have one too, don't we? Miyako said as she wiped her tears. Ichigo widened his eyes at her words. Wait, what? Minoru cleared his throat. Since everyone is here, how about we have dinner together? The truth is, I brought a lot of good wagyu, and we could have a barbecue. AI lit up. Barbecue? Let's do that. I'll help prepare then. No, it's all right, boss. My wife and I could leave. It's all right. Don't stress over this since we already talked about this, right? There's good sake too. Well, if the boss insists, Ichigo conceded, convinced with just sake alone. Minoru headed to the kitchen, box in hand, working swiftly like a seasoned chef. He slowed down a bit, allowing AI to observe and learn his techniques. The harmony of their joint preparations left everyone in awe. Boss, I'm thinking we could turn this into a cooking show with you as the star. You'd be famous in no time, Ichigo shared his candid thoughts. Yes. Yanagi-san's dishes always taste amazing, and people would love watching him cook, Miyako chimed in. I think that could work. I could record him with a camera, and our kitchen is good enough, no need for a studio, Aqua agreed. AI hummed in agreement, turning to Minoru, what do you think, Minoru-kun? Well, I don't have time for that. I'm busy. And if I become more famous, it'll be more troublesome, Minoru replied. Ichigo sighed in disappointment, that's really unfortunate. Speaking of fame, boss, we have a problem. The media is trying to figure out who the mysterious woman you saved is, and AI's name is getting dragged into it. Reporters are even camped out at our front door, waiting for clarification. Minoru paused cutting the meat, noticing Ruby's sadness. He glanced at the muted TV, displaying news about him saving a mysterious woman with 2 kids. I'll handle that. Ruby, don't worry, watch how cool your dad is, he assured her, apron still on. He headed to the balcony, leaving them dumbfounded by his confidence. Watching him through the window, they saw him stop at the balcony's edge and make a call. Aqua unmuted the TV. So, who's the person Yanagi-sensei saved? Breaking news. Bigfoot footage found in Hokkaido. The news changed abruptly, leaving them bewildered. After that, Minoru returned, anyway, let's eat. After a while, with plates of wagyu in front of them, they were still speechless. Minoru had casually silenced the media and diverted attention from the mysterious woman. Ichigo, I just heard that journalists are leaving one by one, Miyako said in shock, holding her phone. Ichigo nodded, just leave it, I trust him. Let's focus on the barbecue. Minoru-kun, was that your doing? AI asked in awe. As Minoru sat, placing Ruby on his lap, he replied, Nah, I just called someone I know. Don't worry about social media either. But let's avoid more rumors. They watched him grill the meat with a smile, the aroma so enticing that they forgot their problems in no time. Whoa! It smells amazing! Ruby exclaimed, drooling. Since I helped him cut the meat, I should get some credit too, right? AI added with a playful smile. Alright, let's start our first round, Minoru said, and they all dug in. Thanks for the food. It's delicious. Did you say it's wagyu A5? Aqua inquired, eyeing the boxes that still seemed to have meat inside. Getting this much beef, even with money, is challenging. You know a lot, hey. Minoru smirked, taking another piece. Well, it's from the same cow that chased AI and my daughters. But who cares? They stopped chewing, looking at Minoru, who sipped his wine. With this dinner, the family learned something important about Minoru. He was a yandere. Dinner wrapped up, and everyone hit the hay. But not Minoru. He was burning the midnight oil in his study room. Just when he thought he had the night to himself, a knock echoed through the room. Come in. To his surprise, a little girl with silver hair, just like his own, cautiously peeked in as if to confirm he was really there. Dad. I couldn't sleep. Her words caught him off guard. It was the first time she'd ever called him Dad so sweetly, just the way he had always wanted. Dash. On the flip side of the globe, inside the Queen's office at Luxembourg Palace, Eileen is engrossed in her work. Her formal attire exudes an air of authority as she meticulously reads and signs documents on her desk. Your Majesty, please reconsider your decision, urges a man with grey hair, anxiety apparent in his tone. Eileen, with her fiery red hair and unwavering golden eyes, gazes at him, pen in hand. Mr. Pierre, she says, setting her pen down, I've had my fill of playing America's lapdog. Your Majesty. She interrupts with a smile that sends a chill down his spine. All you need to do is follow my lead. I'll take responsibility. We don't have to share our technology. Thanks to me, Luxembourg has thrived. Even when my father ruled, we haven't seen victories like this since our ancestors faced Napoleon. Don't you doubt me? No, Your Majesty, he stammers. Resting her cheek on her palm, Eileen states, Good, Prime Minister. Next time, I only want to hear yes or woof, understood. I don't need a dog that says no, show me that next time. Shivering at her warning, he replies, understood. With a warm smile, Eileen dismisses him, thank you for your report. You may leave now, Mr. Pierre. Excusing himself, Mr. Pierre exits, leaving Eileen to decide on a short break. She retreats to her room, a lavish space with an old-world charm. Eileen, now in a white shirt reaching her upper thigh, watches a projector depicting a silver-haired man tormenting cows on a black horse, assisted by 7 menacing dogs. It intrigues her, providing insights into her sister's newfound knowledge of her savior's identity 001. Yet, Eileen de Luxembourg views no one as a competitor, not even her adorable sister. She hums, sinking into a sofa with a glass of wine in hand. Well, James, no one is more suited to be by your side than me. Neither, no one deserves me except you. How about we make it known to the world that you're mine alone? Creator's thoughts. Livis. Like it. Add to library. Comment. 30 comment. Vote. Chapter 48, Chapter 44, The Most Dangerous Man on Earth. This sounds like a fairy tale. How did you manage to convince us that this guy is as real as you claim? Lena expected this reaction. I don't need to convince you, Admiral. As you're all experiencing the same things I am, she said, scanning the group. Angelina Kyoto Shields, or Lena, is a 20-year-old detective working for the CIA. They call her a genius because she took down the biggest drug dealers in the world, saving America from their illegal activities. And now she's the only one who has caught the attention of the US president for uncovering the mystery behind their losses. She finds herself being questioned by executives at the White House. What do you mean by that? You're suggesting we missed something? Do you have the audacity to tell us that? An executive pressed, his face contorted in anger. Well, as you can see, I am a free person. The thing is, I have to say we only have one lead. Do you remember this name? The projector displayed a name as she asked. An old man hummed as his face turned angry, and bang. He smacked the table. How dare you show this name in front of me? Are you mocking us? No, how could I? The person is the one who killed my father in the Iraq War, Admiral, Lena said emotionlessly, silencing him. What I'm trying to say is, the man you hated the most, the GOB, is the same person I encountered in Mexico City. So, his real name is Pablo Escobar? The mastermind behind the organization you destroyed? If I recall correctly, he should have died in the explosion in Mexico City Square. Sadly, from my investigation, I'm not convinced he's really the Lord of Drugs or that he's dead, as I've always claimed. Regardless of why people never believed me that he's still alive, I've connected the dots. Lena said as the projector changed again. The god of battlefields in the Iraq War and Pablo Escobar, the Lord of Drugs in Mexico City. It's actually the same person. Murmurs spread, and Lena continued. Capitol Hill, the death of the speaker, and recently, Luxembourg, the death of the first prince. This person's identity is none other than Baba Yaga, the legend in the underworld. But he's also part of a dangerous organization called Ruska Bratva, who gave him a code name, 001. And you know well what kind of people the numbers are. The room fell silent at this information, but Lena could sense the anger because of how much they hated 001. This is a serious matter, Mr. President. If what Miss Shields says is true, then he could be anywhere, including among us. What if he decides to pursue something more interesting? The President widened his eyes, the N-word. Yes, sir. Nuclear launch codes. After a heated discussion, the President concluded, take him down. Detective, thank you for your remarkable job. Thanks to your investigation, we have more insight into this organization and our number one enemy. I'll bring this topic to our allies in NATO about how dangerous this man could be and the organization behind him. America won't stand still until we get our revenge. Thank you, sir, Lena smiled as she gained the President's full support. Mr. President, we should find this man since he might be planning something dangerous. Dash. What a bunch of troublesome old folks, Lena mumbled under her breath as she slumped onto the sofa, her vibrant blue eyes reflecting both weariness and determination. The formal meeting had just concluded, and she took a moment to secure her long, blonde hair into two wavy tresses, held in place by ribbons. The gravity of the situation had finally sunk in for everyone present. This man and the organization backing him were no joke. Lena couldn't shake the memories of the cruelty she witnessed in Mexico City, orchestrated by a man known as Pablo, or more ominously, 001. Leaning back, she let out a heavy sigh. The savagery she had witnessed, the heartless murders of innocent children in front of her eyes, haunted her. It had taken time, but she had learned that this man, 001, was also responsible for her father's death in Iraq. Now, with a burning desire for revenge, she vowed to find him. Lena. Sylvie, her longtime assistant, approached, placing a cup of coffee on the table. Lena looked up, her carefree gaze meeting Sylvie's. What is it, Sylvie? Sylvie sighed, glancing around their apartment. You know what? I've been your assistant for years, A&D. Could you please take care of your things? Lena chuckled, I don't think this place is that dirty. Of course, genius. Because I'm the one who cleans it up. Sylvie retorted, throwing Lena's panties at her. How rude. Well, you're right, Lena giggled. But this is S*XY, isn't it? Anyway, how do we find this man now? She gestured towards the cluttered wall, covered in clues connected by threads. Put that aside. Sylvie handed her a top-secret document. Director Balance has assigned us side jobs. What? Lena exclaimed, her eyes widening. Didn't I tell her I'm busy hunting this man? The director said you can refuse, but she at least wants to hear your suggestion if you know someone you trust and who's capable of the job. Lena sighed, glancing at the paper. A potential global pandemic? This is serious. Maybe it's part of 001 big plan or Ruska Bratva. She read the document intently before breaking into a bright smile. Why are you smiling like that, Lena? It's creepy, considering you're reading something, not something funny. Ha ha ha. Lena laughed. I'll take the job, as I know just the person we need. Damn it, he's tough to track down. But... She opened a video of a silver-haired man pulling a cowboy on her phone before closing the app and staring at a selfie she had taken with the same person, set as her wallpaper. Dash. The world started taking this guy seriously, considering how much of a game-changer he was, capable of shaking things up and plunging them into crisis. The man himself, knee-deep in a serious situation, stared at the last two cards in his hand. He glanced away, only to find his daughter holding her last card. Now, mind you, this dangerous man was currently engrossed in a game of Uno with his daughter Ruby, who couldn't catch a wink of sleep. Minoru was happily skipping a virtual board meeting that he could have attended, but you know how wealthy he was. Dad, hurry up. Ruby urged, eager for her fifth win. Hold a sec. Cause, I'm aiming for my first victory. Ruby giggled, hee well, I'm the second best after Anya when it comes to this card game, you know. Minoru smirked, I guess, considering you're my daughter. Then prove it, Ruby challenged him, eyes gleaming with the confidence of a card game maestro. Well, no doubt about it. Sometimes, he questioned his luck, but in games like these, he never doubted himself. After all, he always got banned when he visited Vegas or Monaco. So, he looked at his hand. I've got a wild card and a wild draw 4. Looking at Ruby's obvious face, she doesn't have a good card to counter me if I use the wild draw 4. But, he wanted to keep her confident, so he played the fool. Minoru casually placed his card down and declared, Uno. Ruby lit up at the sight of the wild card. Which color will you choose? Minoru pretended to ponder while sneakily peeking at her expression. If I choose red. When he said it, Ruby looked panicked. Well, I hate red. Her eyes brightened again. I guess yellow might be. Ruby's eyes looked like she was about to cry. I think blue. When he said it, Ruby's face seemed to say, yes. Pick that one. Pick that one. I choose blue. Minoru said as Ruby slammed her last card down like a champion. Yes. Yes. It's my 5th win. She exclaimed, doing a victory dance. Minoru clapped for her triumph as he gathered the cards again. At that moment, someone opened Minoru's study room door and stood stunned at the sight. You're playing cards without me. AI pouted. Mama. Mama. Ruby ran over and hugged her. I won against him for the 5th time and got bored since Dad never wins, hoo. She said proudly. There, there. AI patted her head, my daughter is a genius, right? This has gotta be something that runs in the family. As the winner, what do you want, Ruby? A dinosaur? Done. Big rabbit doll? Just say it, Minoru offered, already prepared for the impossible. AI once again thought he was dead serious. I think. Ruby thought hard, can we all sleep together tonight? She said while playing with her fingers. Minoru smiled, finding it cute and simple. That's a good idea. But AI came to her senses, knowing that Minoru never slept with anyone, not even with her, except for making out. When she woke up the next morning, she never saw him by her side, well aware of how wild he can be in bed as she always passed out. Anyhow, she remembered how serious he was about no one entering his room without permission. Odd as it may be, AI wouldn't force him, even if she wanted to get to know him better. Sure, let's go. AI didn't expect him to agree, considering it was just a normal family sleepover. But she was happy with it. Let's go. Hurry up. Hee. Ruby excitedly rushed to her room, leaving AI and Minoru behind. Still up? Minoru asked, glancing up from his desk as he shut down his device. Yeah, AI replied, leaning against the entrance. I know you're busy, but can you come to the school for the parent-teacher meeting? Miyako-san is tied up with our new song, and I'm busy, but family comes first, so don't worry about that. What day? It's 2 days from now, and it's not about Ruby. It's Aqua. Walking over to her, Minoru sensed her worry. Is he harassing someone? What do you mean by harassing? AI looked puzzled, and Minoru sighed to himself. Well. Minoru smirked as he kissed her, they say, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, so. He squeezed her as hard as she almost screamed, he added, I'm worried since his old man is quite perverted. And it might be passed down for generations ouch. AI slapped his butt for good. I'm serious, Minoru-kun. I'm worried about him. Please talk to him, father to son. Okay? And wait a second, you say quite perverted, hey. That's a lie, but you're right. Ugh, not good. I'm starting to worry if Aqua will make a lot of women cry. AI narrowed her eyes at him. Minoru nodded. I know. But don't worry. As my son is burdened with glorious purpose. AI raised her brow. And what is that? Minoru put on a smug face. Isn't it obvious? It's repopulating the earth. Maybe he'll get 2 or 3 wives at least ouch. Not my butt. It's been a long day for me. Then stop with these obvious words. Are you asking me if I'm okay with you having 2 wives, right? Minoru looked away from her. What a nice weather. AI left him behind as she rushed downstairs. Hey, you mad at me? I'm joking, alright. Dash. Meanwhile, Ruby was preparing 4 pillows on the bed. Done. Oi, what's going on with 4 pillows? Aqua asked, reading his book. We're going to sleep together. Oh, that's a first. Aqua closed his book. I'm going to brush my teeth first hey. He was shocked when he saw AI with a teary face. Aqua. She hugged him. You won't become like your dad, right? I don't know. You won't, right? Yes, yes. Hey, what's going on? Ruby approached them, and AI hugged her as well. Sob. Sob. When Minoru arrived, Aqua and Ruby stared at him as if saying, "You piece of trash. What did you do to her?" Wait, kids. I should clarify first that. And bang. Ruby shut the door hard. Dash. Hee hee hee. AI giggled. I'm just kidding, alright? But I'm happy with your reactions. Ah ha ha ha. My kids really love me that much, hey? How's my acting? After some time, everything was resolved. Currently, they were all leaning against the bed. AI and Ruby were in the middle, while the guys were on the sides. Yeah, somehow I was convinced for a moment, Aqua admitted, acknowledging AI's improving acting skills. Hee hee. AI smirked. Okay, how about a bedtime story? Ruby lit up, yay, a story. With that, the three looked at Minoru. Stop giving me that look, since I don't have a good story. AI pouted. Oakman Minoru-kun, try hard. Minoru hummed. Roses are red, violets are blue, and we're going to bed. The end. Good night. That's a bad story. Ruby was at a loss for words as she yawned. Yeah, but it works, right? Alright, Jarvis, do me a favor and turn off the light. Minoru said, clapping his hands. Who is Jarvis? I'm talking to you, Aqua. AI chuckled about how he was messing with Aqua, and with that, they all fell asleep. After some time. Thud. Hey. AI said, still half asleep. Stop playing around and sleep. She changed her position, hugging Minoru. Thud. Aqua. Not me. Aqua said, going back to sleep. Thud. Ruby? AI woke up, calling her, but when she looked at the kids, they were all on the bed. Thud. She flinched as she felt a shiver down her spine. AI looked at her side, and Minoru was here, then who? Thud. A loud noise, louder than before, woke all of them. Kai. Ghost. Minoru sprang out of bed, flicking on the lights, revealing an emptiness that left them puzzled. I swear, it wasn't me. I just read a book today, not much, Aqua muttered, a shiver running down his spine. The unmistakable source was the heap of books tumbling from the shelves secured to the wall before them. However, the mystery lingered. How could this happen when they were certain there was no earthquake? Dash. Chapter 45, The Ghost. Creator's Thoughts. Livis. Like it? Add to library. Have some idea about my story? Comment it and let me know. Comment. 41 comment. Vote. Chapter 49, Chapter 45, 1%. Volume 2. Dash. Ghost? As a realist, he never believed in things like ghosts. Yet, Minoru couldn't explain why these books were hurling themselves off the shelves for some reason. Was the culprit a ghost? Ruby asked, clutching AI tightly. There's no such thing as ghosts, Ruby, Minoru said, picking up a book without feeling anything peculiar. Then why did it suddenly fall like that? Ruby persisted. Minoru smiled, I guess that's your homework then. Find out what happened before jumping to conclusions. Ruby pouted, guess I'll let Aqua do the homework. But, I still think it was a ghost. Aqua stared at Ruby like, what the hell, man? I'm busy. Do it alone. Oh, come on, Aqua. Since you're smart, help your sister out, alright. AI said, patting his head. Okay, sure. Minoru and Ruby exchanged glances, wearing expressions that said, he's such a mommy's boy. Anyway, let's go back to sleep. What if the books fall again? I don't want to wake up every time they start making a lot of noise. Even though we could change rooms, I don't want my kids running away from their problems. Just bear with it. AI closed her eyes and pondered, I guess you're right. With his reasoning, they all drifted back to sleep. As time passed, the books didn't fall again, but the mystery remained unanswered. Dash. Sob. Sob. The relentless rain mirrored the unending sorrow of the elderly woman beside him. It was just another day, another rain in London. The scene unfolded with a 6-year-old boy, James, his blonde hair plastered to his face, watching a group of people in hazardous suits solemnly place 2 coffins into a rectangular hole. "James, from now on, you'll sleep in my house," a sharply dressed old man to his right informed him. On his left stood his grandma, and the 3 maintained a distance from each other under their respective umbrellas. Young James nodded slowly, his soulless gaze fixed on the grim sight. His grandpa acknowledged the resilience in his grandchild, who didn't overreact to the loss of his parents this day, due to the early COVID-19 outbreak. Since then, James has been living with his grandparents. His grandpa, a head chef, taught him how to cook, while his grandma, a professor who had studied medicine at Oxford, remained haunted by guilt. Having lost her son-in-law and daughter, she blamed herself for not developing the vaccine in time, pointing fingers at others for their incompetence. As the years passed, James immersed himself in learning to cook from his grandpa. One day, armed with a sandwich and coffee he had just made, he entered his grandma's lab. The sight of her sobbing at her desk didn't escape him, and he winced as he stepped on a messy pile of newspapers, noting, "Ah, it's Grandma's Nobel Prize." Undeterred, he approached her desk, saying, "Grandma, I brought sandwiches." After a bit of effort, he managed to place the tray in front of her. Sob. "I'm sorry, James," she apologized through her tears. "If the vaccine was on time, maybe I could have saved them." In response, he gazed out of the window at the rain pouring from the grey sky, a constant reminder of the distance he felt from his parents' graves. All he could do was watch from afar. As the haunting memories of his past faded away, Minoru woke up slowly. He stole a glance at his peacefully sleeping family, sighed, and quietly left the bed. A brief pause at the bookshelves preceded his return to his study room. April 3, 2014. It had been 2 days since then. It's 30 minutes before lunch, and Minoru is maintaining his undercover status as a teacher, jotting down his lecture on the board. However, he needs to leave the school due to a family situation, as he explains. "All right, folks, this is your homework. I'm wrapping up the class now, and you can spend the last 30 minutes however you want," Minoru says, adjusting his suit over his white shirt. "If you have any questions about your homework, you know my email address. Have a good day." As Minoru walks out of the classroom, the students start buzzing with curiosity. "Hey, where's he going? Fujiwara-san, since you're close to sensei, do you know where he's headed?" "Easy, everyone." Chika is overwhelmed by the barrage of questions. "I don't know everything about him, you know. Why do people keep asking me these questions?" "Ah. Why don't you just ask him directly, hey?" Meanwhile, Minoru heads to kindergarten and replaces Miyako, who couldn't make it due to Bikomaka's new song. Despite the attention from curious parents, Minoru gracefully steps out of his G-Wagon. At the kindergarten, most parents are women, and they glance at Minoru as if he's a rare species before quickly averting their gaze, a typical Japanese politeness. This meeting is about Aqua. Minoru isn't sure what the teacher will say about his son, but he's already aware of what's happening. In short, Aqua wants revenge for an incident involving a guy who's already met his demise. Minoru is conscious of the situation but allows Aqua to handle it on his own, not wanting his son to become a spoiled brat overly reliant on his parents. Moreover, he can't just tell Aqua what happened, so he waits for the right moment. Over the past month, AI has sensed something wrong with her son, and she wants Minoru to talk to him as a father. It seems he needs to impart a life lesson to Aqua. There you go, Ruby. Well, who said you can't dance as well as me? AI smirked with narcissism as Ruby managed to move exactly as she instructed. Currently, it was the afternoon and Ruby and AI were using their gym in the penthouse when Ruby asked her to teach her how to dance. Huffed, thanks, Mama. I didn't know if I could become this flexible, thanks to you. Even as she gasped for air, Ruby couldn't hide her excitement. AI laughed at this. I think it's because you're a prodigy at this, hey. AI hummed, rubbing her chin. Well, since I'm your daughter. Ruby put on a smug face, and AI giggled at that. Ah ha ha ha. Makes sense. So, you want to show this to Papa? Ruby blushed a bit, no. Not yet. Hehe, how cute. AI read her, it seemed Ruby wanted to perfect her training before surprising him. Oh, it seems Papa just arrived here. Don't worry, I'll keep him away from this place, K. Okay. Promise me to keep this a secret. Sure sure. AI patted her head as she went to the elevator's door. As she walked, she heard something falling again in the kids' room. It's been 2 days, and the books keep behaving like that. How does that even make sense? She took a quick look, and she was right about it, the books were shattering to the floor like before. And it was the same book when this thing happened. AI stepped out of the bedroom with a sigh. She wasn't scared anymore, but she worried since the kids were sleeping there. Speaking of worries, Minoru-kun, he's waking up late at night again. Did he have bad dreams? AI wasn't sure about it. He's a kind and sweet person. He's the closest person to her right now, but he's also very distant. It's complicated. Ding! The elevator doors swung open, revealing a man with silver hair. I'm home. Welcome home, AI said with a grin. How was your day at work? Minoru stepped out, eyeing her with curiosity. It looked like she had just wrapped up a workout, clad in a white sports bra and long leggings. Nothing much. Oh. Minoru smirked, remembering something. Hey, what's happening? That's not gonna happen. What? You're saying that to me after making that kind of face? What face? I'm just dodging red flags, you know? I don't want to end up 6 feet under after spillin' the beans. He said, slipping out of his suit, grabbing a glass, and taking a swig of water in the kitchen. AI kept her eyes on him, pouting. You know what? Why would I kill you over some trivial matter? Just spill it, please. Minoru nodded while downing the water. Take a look in my bag. AI peeked inside. What? You've got 5 love confession letters this fast. AI shot him an unsatisfied look. You claimed you were gonna be a scary teacher. Humph, such a big liar. AI pouted, her eyes growing darker. Can't help it. I'm just too good, right? He smirked, walking over to her. Tell me, you're not wearing this in public. AI smirked back. Are you jealous? Of course. And tell Miyako that I forbid all Bikomaki members from wearing revealing clothes from now on. Then you're a fool for not letting me retire quickly, she said, kissing him. She quickly realized she was becoming bolder than before, hiding her mouth as she added, speaking of that, you need to check your song. Will you come to the studio? Well, since he was the one who brought this song to the world, he needed to take responsibility. Okay. Anyway. Minoru glanced around. Where's my daughter? AI snapped, ah. She's up to something secret. Don't find her. Hey. He sighed. So, my daughter wants me to die of curiosity, hey? Well played. Ha ha ha. Take that as payback for what you did to me earlier, she said, recalling something. Oh, Minoru-kun. The books are acting up again. Ah, that phenomenon. That's Aqua's department, so I'll let him find the answer. AI's face couldn't hide her disbelief. Minoru-kun, our kid's just turned 4 this month, and you want him to find the answer? He hasn't even graduated from kindergarten. Well, about that, the teachers think Aqua could graduate anytime soon. So, they're okay with him not taking classes because he's more than qualified to outsmart an elementary school student. You know what? Our little genius can sit calmly reading books mostly at the college level. And again, he's not even 4. On top of how brilliant he is, he behaves like a perfect adult, and scares his teacher so many times. Since they were born, AI never had the slightest trouble taking care of her kids, especially Aqua. When she reads about other parents' experiences with raising children, Aqua and Ruby seem like a breeze compared to other kids their age. Don't stress about it, Minoru reassured AI, placing his hand on her shoulder. Even if they're geniuses, they're still just kids. That won't change. As the adults who brought them into this world, it's our job to take care of them, right? AI smiled at his words. You're absolutely right. Minoru chuckled, damn, now I feel like an old man, he said as he headed upstairs. Following him, AI added, Minoru-kun, never mention age in front of a woman, okay? And I think now is the perfect time to talk with Aqua. Entering his study room, Minoru mused, I know. Aqua's shooting in Shibuya, right? Yeah, AI said, checking out the room. He's in the middle of shooting a flashback for drama I Married My Childhood Friend, playing the main character back when he was a kid. Nodding, Minoru grabbed the keys to his Koenigsegg Agera. Meanwhile, AI couldn't help but feel a bit lost in Minoru's study room. I feel too dumb to understand all this. Are you trying to calculate something? She asked, eyeing the blackboard. Oh, I'm just working on a formula for safe travel to and from Mars. Taking a brief pause, she asked softly, Mars? AI inquired. Yeah, it's what I do. Leaning on his desk, arms crossed, he met her eyes with a composed stare. Perhaps it's because Aqua is my son. I hate to boast, but you know, people who know me don't call me Professor Moriarty for nothing. AI stared at Minoru, a mixture of stunned and bewilderment evident. Professor Moriarty? She asked, a softness in her voice, the realization dawning that there was so much more she didn't know about him, maybe just 1%, leaving her feeling somewhat lost. AI. Minoru hesitated, yet feeling the moment was ripe for unveiling a fragment of his, James Moriarty, is my other name. And most people who know me, remember that name better than Yanagi Minoru. A/N. It's been a while since I had a story to finish. Comment. 39 comment. Vote. Chapter 50, Chapter 46, Why is he here? I see. Well, I guess it's pretty obvious. In his study room, the red sky framed him, casting a warm glow as he looked at her with his crimson eyes. She couldn't shake off the chill she felt. Let's stop here, he said, walking over and patting her head. Let's take it slow since I haven't told you everything. But someday, I'll share more. More? AI wanted to know it all right now, but she decided to be patient. Gotcha, don't worry about it. With that, Minoru headed to Aqua's shooting site in Shibuya, leaving AI deep in thought. Was it because she had lied about having a kid and a man while being an idol? She couldn't help but feel that this was her punishment. As she stared at the elevator doors, the place where she had seen him off, AI came to the conclusion that Minoru was also wearing a mask of lies. Cherry blossoms dance in the breeze, and the air hums with the soothing sounds of nature, providing a serene escape from the bustling city. One bright afternoon, Shizu, a little girl, found herself in a bind, lost in the park with tears streaming down her face and a twisted ankle to boot. And just when things seemed at their worst, Marui, her childhood buddy, took it upon himself to track her down. Their eyes locked, and in that very moment, Shizu, overwhelmed with relief, blurted out, "Promise you'll marry me, Marui." Caught off guard, Marui flashed a smile and said, "Sure thing, Shizu." Little did he know that this innocent promise would become the cornerstone of their shared journey. With Shizu on his back, Marui escorted her out of the park, the setting sun casting a warm glow on their path. Sauntering through the city streets, Shizu's arms wrapped securely around Marui's neck, she couldn't help but feel a comforting sense of security. "Thanks for finding me, Marui," she whispered, her head nestled on his shoulder. Marui, navigating the urban labyrinth effortlessly, replied, "No problem, Shizu. Friends stick together." Just as they were getting lost in the moment, a voice cut through the air, "Quiet." It was director Gotanda, exclaiming, "That's some stellar acting right there, good job. I reckon this scene is exactly what I envisioned." 10 minutes break before the final take. With that, the crew sighed in unison after a long day and took a well-deserved short break. "What's up, Aqua? You seem a bit off today," said Arima Kana, a girl with short red hair. "I'm fine," replied Aqua as he took a seat on a nearby parked chair. Kana decided to join him. "Hey Aqua-kun, Kana-chan." Another girl's voice interrupted them. As Aqua looked at her, she continued, "I'm getting a snack, want some?" "Thanks, Nishino-san." Aqua acknowledged the offer. Nishino Akane, playing the lead teenage character Shizu, had just joined them. Aqua glanced at Kana, who was portraying Shizu as a child. Meanwhile, like Kana, Aqua was playing the role of Marui. Looking at her, Akane was still in her school uniform. "You showed up even though there's no schedule for you." "Impressive," Aqua remarked. Akane smiled, "Ahaha, by the way, Aqua-kun," she observed him closely, "when I look at you these past few days, you remind me of someone I knew." She squinted her eyes. "And who's that?" Aqua raised his brow, anticipating the answer. "My teacher," Akane sighed, "Aqua-kun, I'm confused." Why does he always ask about my attendance twice? Has he never seen me there? Akane shook her head, a little annoyed. Ahaha, sorry about that. In reality, Akane didn't understand what was happening. Minoru was asking her classmate Sakurajima Mai, not her. But she felt lost because he never seemed to look at her, even though she was also from the Nishino family, a Zaibatsu like Shinomiya. Her annoyance reached its peak when her classmate Keijino Cid always forgot her name. In summary, Akane was troubled by these two people for that reason. Looking at Aqua again, he's not his son, right? Akane shook her head. Yanagi-sensei was too young to have a child like Aqua, around 4. But, they look alike. I don't get what you two are talking about, but who's your teacher? Kana felt left behind and asked. Kana-chan, you don't know. Akane took out her phone, he's been a hot topic. Kana's eyes sparkled, that person. For a second, I thought he's an actor or something. I love how he rides a horse and saves that woman with a child. Ah, so cool. I thought it was a film, but to my surprise, it was a real situation. Akane smiled awkwardly. It seemed Kana was a fan of Yanagi-sensei. I'm more surprised that Kana-chan knows a lot. Oi, it's almost time to work. Gotenda interrupted their conversation. Aqua, Kana, would you both continue? If you need more time. No, let's go. Aqua got up, thinking that after this, he would get what he wanted. Lalali Theatrical Company. This drama, called I Married My Childhood Friend, is a project from this company, and Aqua's teacher, Gotenda Taishi, is responsible for it. Thanks to his connection and skill, Aqua managed to get this role. The owner promised me another job, and that will lead me to the person who once worked with AI's acquaintance. Maybe there's a man who once liked mom or something, but he got rejected. Anyway, it's worth the hard work for my revenge. Aqua wanted to confront the person who almost drove him crazy and made it impossible for him to live a normal life until he finished him or her. Meanwhile, Gotenda sighed, does he really want revenge that much? Should I stop him? But his mom almost got stabbed. Vroom. Gotenda was distracted by a loud noise from the road. Since it's a public park, passing vehicles were expected, but this area was relatively quiet for Shibuya. Everyone reflexively turned their heads to see an expensive hypercar roaring and slowing down, parking near the shooting location. Who's that? That car looks sick, man. Murmurs spread. Akane, did someone come to pick you up? Gotenda asked her. No, it's not my dad. Ha. Others glanced at Aqua, who sighed deeply. Soon, the man cut off the engine. They watched as the car's door swung open, revealing a man with silver hair and impeccable formal attire, a white shirt neatly tucked into long black pants that hugged his well-built, muscular frame. The man walked calmly towards their group, paying no mind to the silence and stares. Aqua looked at him unamused, wondering why he bothered to pick him up. Of course, Miyako was busy, but Aqua could take care of himself. Meanwhile, Akane was surprised. Was he overhearing her rant earlier? Yo! Aqua! Minoru said, and Akane's face quickly changed as she was mistaken. She said softly. Is the shooting done? Minoru grinned at him, momentarily forgetting about his student. A/N. Good morning. Can I have your stones? LOL. Wait for the next chapter tomorrow morning, thanks. Creator's thoughts. Livis. Like it. Add to library. Comment. 29 comment. Vote. Chapter 51, Chapter 47, Sugar Daddy. Right now, two people are standing out as they lock their eyes. It's not just about their appearance, but we're talking about the emerging child star Aqua and another rising figure outside the entertainment industry, Yanagi-sensei. Aqua raises his brow at him. No, I'm not done. Suddenly, Kana pushes him away. Excuse me. Are you Yanagi-sensei, right? Right. She says with starry eyes, unable to hide her excitement upon meeting the person she thought was an actor from an action movie who didn't use any stunt doubles. But it was a real incident that happened to be caught on camera, which, of course, made Kana even more amazed. That's correct, Kana. If he chooses to pursue acting, he won't be just any actor, he'll be Tom Cruise. No, he'll be Keanu Reeves. Oh. Minoru looks at the little girl with red hair and peeks at Aqua as he grins, that's me. So, who are you, little girl? He squats down to her level. Kana lights up, Arima Kana. Genius child actress, hee. She rubs her nose with pride. Anyway. I liked your horse riding action that time. Let's be friends. Ah, that's great, and thank you for that. And yet, let's be good friends. But you're Aqua's friend too, right? Minoru asks as she nods. Good. Here's some pocket money for Kana. He gives her 700k yen. Wait. No, Kana blushes as Minoru grabs her hand and forces her to take the money. Don't be like that, it's just pocket money. As he says that, he glances at Aqua as if to say, I got this, man. Don't worry, and I approve of both of you. Aqua looks at him, like, brew what the foo *k. Sensei, you seem not to recognize me again, hey. Minoru looks to his side and sees Nishino Akane smiling awkwardly. Nishino? What are you doing here? Akane's smile twitches. I'm also working for this drama, you know. She says while pointing at herself. Minoru nods. Good work. You don't want pocket money too, right? Yet his attitude is a little different when he talks to Kana, which makes Akane itch. I'm fine, sensei. How about treating me to coffee instead? Akane points at the vending machine. Okay. Minoru looks at Gotanda. I'm sorry for that. You must be Director Gotanda Taishi? My name is Yanagi Minoru, Aqua's uncle. He says, offering him a handshake. EHHH. Both Kana and Akane are surprised to learn that he's Aqua's relative. Gotanda says as he feels a chill when Minoru asks him. He just couldn't withstand someone powerful-looking person like Minoru. I heard a lot about you from Aqua's mother. Pleasure to meet you. Gotanda accepts his handshake, and Minoru twitches for a moment. Likewise. What does he mean by Aqua's mother? I'm sorry, but there's a take for the last scene before you can take Aqua home. I hope you don't mind waiting, ha? Gotanda sighs as he looks at the crowd around them. No problem. Minoru looks around and notices that a lot of Gotanda's crew is waiting for them, wanting to take pictures with him. Dash. Catch it, Minoru said, throwing a can of coffee at Akane. Whoa. Startled, Akane caught it with a little effort. Sensei, it seems like you don't know how to treat a lady. I believe in gender equality, opening his coffee can, he said. I'm surprised to see you here. Akane smiled. Me too, haha. She looked at him, especially his silver hair. So. Sensei is Aqua-kun's uncle? Well, I believe it since you're pretty much similar. Is that so? How long have you known him? I think it's been a month since we started working together. But that kid is really something else. Akane looked at Aqua from afar. How could such a boy act like an adult? I mean, I always forget that I'm talking to a 4-year-old. They were talking near Minoru's car, and the road became more packed as it was rush hour. Sensei, I'm confused. Why did you call me twice when you took attendance? And you know I was there. Akane pouted. Minoru glanced at her. You're not joking, right? Akane tilted her head. I'm not, and why should I? I see. I'm sorry for that. Minoru glanced once more at Aqua afar, pondering. Sakurajima hasn't appeared in the last 2 days, and those around me seemed perplexed when I questioned her. Initially, I thought it was a joke. Could this be some supernatural crap? Even my kids' bookshelves are acting all weird. Minoru sighed. It's seriously annoying, man. So, you're the one who's joking around, hey? Akane giggled. At first, I thought you were kind of a scary teacher, but you're not. I'm sorry, sensei, but my driver is here. See you later. Bye Nishino. She waved at him as Minoru nodded and leaned on his car's hood, peacefully drinking his coffee can while watching his son working. It hadn't even been that long since Akane left, and Minoru sighed again, not expecting them to come this soon. As he emptied his coffee, he said, Tatsuki has become too powerful, and it seems they've forgotten the meaning of manners. He cast a glance at a group of people in formal attire bowing 90 degrees to him. Never mind. Just let me know what old man Nakiri is after. As he said that, a female employee walked closer. Pardon my rudeness, Jamie-sama. She handed him an envelope. Tatsuki's staff watched this man, gulping in awe. In Totsuki, no one didn't know him the legend. After all, when he was there as a middle school student, everyone recognized him as a reaper of Totsuki Elite 10 Council. His victory in an official Shokyuchi against Shinomiya Kaguya was most memorable. And when he defeated the first seat of the Elite 10, Shinomiya Kaguya, Jamie executed a main character move. He dropped out, leaving the academy in shock. A/N, in the canon his name should be Shinomiya Kaguya, but this is O. Jamie, hey. He chose the name since, in his previous life, his grandpa used to call him that when he worked in the kitchen. Anyway, it had been a while since he heard that name when he used the nickname during his time at Totsuki as a middle school student. Minoru opened the envelope and read a letter. Jamie, it's been a while. For the sake of the good old days, why not come back to Totsuki and chat with this old man? I'll overlook the fact that you're good at hiding, but this old man wants to see someone who treats you like his own grandson. You punk! Ever since you traveled with Joichiro, you've become exactly like him, disappearing like a wild cat. Until I saw you on TV, deciding to become a teacher in that woman's school when you have Totsuki. My school also has a big farm if you want to do that kind of sport, and I have to say, this old man needs your help. Anyway, at least come here since you owe me an apology. P.S. Irina seems to have a crush on you. Remember that time you cooked something just for me, and Irina decided to join us before I took a photo of you with her? And Alice. She had a soft spot for you when she started learning how to cook in Europe and met you there. Take responsibility, you punk. What do you think about becoming Nakari's son-in-law? You've gotta be kidding me, old man, Minoru muttered as he finished reading. Meanwhile, Aqua was shouldering his bag, accompanied by Gotanda. After the shoot was wrapped up, Gotanda decided to have a little chat with Aqua's dad, but neither of them expected to find Minoru engrossed in reading a letter as there was a group of people in formal suits surrounding him, displaying utmost respect and politeness. Aqua, who was he again? Aqua shrugged. He's Batman, he replied, then strolled over to Minoru. Just tell the old man I'll consider it. You may go now, Minoru said, and they bowed before walking away. So, who are they? Aqua inquired as he watched them leave. Someone else employees, Minoru said, glancing at Gotanda. Thank you for taking care of my nephew. He knows the truth, Aqua interrupted, making Minoru widen his eyes. What? Minoru looked back at Aqua and Gotanda. Gotanda smiled awkwardly. Well, sorry about that. To be continued. A/N. I'm enjoying this cliffhanger trend. Have a good day. Creators' thoughts. Livis. Like it. Add to library. Comment. 28 comment. Vote. Chapter 52, Chapter 48, There's nothing he can do. Minoru was a little startled, but he quickly adjusted his composure. In that case, no need for introductions, I suppose, Minoru said, as Gotanda nodded at him. If you've got some time, how about a drink while we chat? However, Gotanda swiftly shook his head. Thanks for the offer, but there's still work waiting for me. Speaking of which, Ichigo-san mentioned a new project. They want me to direct the music video for the new song. Minoru just nodded, not really sure about Ichigo's recent decisions, as he tended to delegate technical matters and decision-making. Being a busy man like himself, he couldn't oversee everything. For now, Minoru decided to play it cool, acting as if he knew everything. I see. I'm looking forward. Not so fast, Gotanda interrupted with a smile. I accepted on one condition. Minoru squinted his eyes, while Gotanda reacted nervously to the intense stare, fearing he might have provoked Minoru in some way. Yet, it was merely Minoru's facial expression. Regardless, rejecting Gotanda wasn't a simple matter for Minoru, given his ties to AI and her confidential information. He had to proceed cautiously. I'll hear it first. Gotanda nodded and handed a pile of papers to Minoru. Ah. Minoru took it and read the cover. I see. Are you asking me to be your investor? I wasn't, Gotanda shook his head with a smile. It's for a reality show. I want you to be a cast member. Minoru sighed, knowing that getting involved in such things could be troublesome. I'll decline. Gotanda-san, take your time and think about the terms you want. I'll comply, considering your relationship with her. Seeing Minoru's reluctance, Gotanda felt the need to convince him in some way. You should take it, Aqua suddenly joined the discussion. Just open it, and you'll understand, Aqua said, crossing his arms. Okay, Minoru looked at the cover again. The title was We're About to Fall in Love for Real, also known as Love for Real. The summary described it as a reality dating show featuring a cast of teenagers with a high school background, bonding through various weekend events to see if they'd become intimate by the end of the show. Though it was a reality show, it could still be manipulated as long as the cast members' ages made sense. So, is this like some reality dating show where I'll have to dress up like a high schooler and flirt with chicks? Minoru asked, eyeing Gotanda. That's the problem. I already have someone, and I'm a teacher. As he spoke, Minoru flipped the page, widening his eyes. AI. He looked at Gotanda again. Why is she here as a cast? Minoru now understood why Aqua had told him to just look at the sheet. That was the problem. He couldn't let his wife be part of this kind of show. Well, the truth is, AI signed the contract long ago, and we're starting this in the next 18 days. I decided to ask for your help to make the reality show a success, considering the trend, and let's not forget about her charisma. Her age also didn't matter since she's barely 20 this year, Gotanda explained, making Minoru smile. Then I'll pay the price for breaking her contract. I don't think so. You know, AI isn't the type to break her promises, Aqua rejected the idea. His smile faded away as he realized buying the company wasn't an option either. Also, Minoru couldn't risk being hated by his daughter after she had just started calling him daddy. Most importantly, he couldn't call himself a man if he just stood by watching his wife flirt with other men, even if it was just a reality show. Minoru was not a cuckold. He decided that he should become part of the cast and be her shield. Minoru sighed once again. Don't complain if I'm not aggressive and not flirting with the other cast. He looked at Gotanda sharply. You probably know why I decided to join this show and don't do anything silly since I'll be there. Gotanda gulped at the man's cold expression. Ah, I understand. I'll be careful. But what about the school you currently work for? Minoru shook his head. Don't worry about that. He gave Gotanda a simple statement, as the CEO trusted him. She probably wouldn't think much about it as long as he didn't do anything scandalous. Aqua nodded with satisfaction, pleased that everything unfolded according to his plan. Now, he could rest easy, knowing that there was someone like him to ensure nobody would get too close to his mom. Gotanda looked at the man, wondering how old he was. From his looks, Gotanda couldn't help but think he was too young to be this successful. Young, handsome, smart, charismatic, and lately, he had broken the internet by saving AI from angry cows. Minoru was the person Gotanda needed, and he might exceed expectations for a mere reality dating show. Sorry, but may I ask how old you are? Gotanda inquired, trying to guess his age. I'm 20, Minoru paused. Well, technically, I'm 19 and 10 months. Gotanda was like, dude, seriously? The world's so not fair. His jaw dropped at how messed up things were. At least, he thought he was at 21 or 22. But he's still underage. Meanwhile, Minoru read the list of the cast, genuinely interested. Sasaki Ida. Nakano Ichika. Ajino Ko. Shiranui Koromo. Sakurajima Mai. AI. Yanagi Minoru. Minoru widened his eyes at the last name. Excuse me, did you meet Sakurajima Mai lately? Minoru asked Gotanda expectantly. However, Gotanda seemed confused. Who? Minoru shut his mouth, showing him the list. Did you ever meet this person lately? Ah? Why is there a blank space on the list? Sigh, sorry for that. If you're talking about Shiranui Koromo, then yes. She's amazing and very talented person, Gotanda nodded honestly. Once again, it was strange that people didn't see her name. Minoru was sure this wasn't a joke, but he couldn't scientifically understand what was going on. Aqua, looking at the dude strangely, then asked, why are you guys talking about Sakurajima Mai and Shiranui Koromo at the same time? Finally, someone noticed Sakurajima Mai when Minoru was thinking he might be losing his freaking mind. But it turned out Aqua noticed her name. So, you noticed her name? Minoru said, not taking his eyes off the road as he drove the Ajira while noticing some car spotters capturing his car with their cameras. You mean that famous actress Sakurajima Mai? Of course, who doesn't know about her? Aqua said, looking at him. Why, Gently turning the steering wheel to the left, he replied, "Let's talk about it later, since you also have a problem, young man." Aqua chuckled, "Me? I don't understand, since I'm perfectly fine, and I'm not hungry right now. Can we just eat dinner at home?" he said as Minoru stopped the car at the McDonald drive-thru. "Unfortunately, your mom told me that I should talk to you, knowing that you're not perfectly fine at all. We're not going home until we finish talking about your problem," Minoru said, rolling down the car window. "3 cheeseburgers and 2 sodas. Thank you." Aqua sighed, realizing it was AI who wanted this conversation. It seemed he couldn't fool motherly instincts. Maybe she noticed the change since she almost died that day. A/N. Need some feedbacks, thanks. *cough. Stones? Creator's thoughts. Livis. Like it. Add to library. Comment. 36 comment. Vote. Chapter 53, Chapter 49, He's Dead. As he placed an order for 3 cheeseburgers and 2 sodas, disappointment set in as 2 cars were waiting in front of them. The dreaded waiting game had begun. In the sleek, black carbon fiber Agera, Minoru leaned against the door panel, resting his cheek on his right fist. Aqua couldn't shake off the strange feeling. The silence was awkward, and grabbing a quick bite at McDonald's drive-thru seemed over the top. Additionally, Aqua couldn't help but wonder about the conversation with Minoru regarding his problem. "So?" Minoru broke the silence, still maintaining his pose. Aqua began to feel nervous. "I want to clarify something before we dive into the main part." Minoru glanced at the left seat. "When did you first meet Kana? She's cute, isn't she?" Aqua was disappointed, he had anticipated something else entirely. He sighed, "Your obsession with my friend had me wondering what you were after." The answer is, during the first movie I worked with the director. I met Kana as she played the role of a creepy child like me. Minoru chuckled, closed his eyes, and smiled. "I thought, besides Anya, you'd never find friends. But she's more mature compared to the other kids your age." Minoru opened his eyes half, peeking at Aqua as if to say, "Though I can't compare you with them." "Haha," Aqua laughed dryly. "And about that movie, the director won an award, and AI, too, was recognized as the protagonist of the year. I don't know what happened, but after that, AI became busier in showbiz until..." Aqua clicked his tongue. Minoru had already guessed what happened. In summary, it was like that reality dating show. AI signed the contract before that happened. But after a stalker incident, AI refused all showbiz offers, tired of working harder when she had a human bank like him. Despite the reason, AI was content with her current life and focused on being an idol, finishing new songs, and hoping Bikomaka could perform in Tokyo Dome before she retired. As Minoru gently moved the car forward, he said, "From what I saw, your obsession with Lalali Theatrical Company was to find the mastermind who sent the stalker, right?" Aqua's eyes seemed ready to pop out, but he maintained his composure, acting clueless. "I don't know what you're talking about. I'm just a 4-year-old kid." "Stop with that silly idea," Aqua looked at Minoru. 3 cheeseburgers and 2 sodas. Minoru peeked his head out of the window. "Yeah. Thank you." He smiled a little as the part-time employee blushed hard, and he closed the car window. "Haha, acting like a fool, hey." Minoru handed the food to Aqua, saying, "Let's say." As he began to drive slowly, "That 4-year-old kid who reads mystery novels and college-level books every day in his spare time, and the kid I'm talking to now is trying to act like he didn't admit that he wants to pull on impossible revenge. Nice try." Aqua sighed. At this moment, he seemed not to care anymore if he was caught red-handed as an adult reborn as AI's child. Narrowing his eyes, Aqua challenged, "So what are you gonna do about it? Stop me? As long as I live, I'll make the person who almost harmed her suffer twice as much, and I'll make sure it happens." He paused, glancing menacingly at Minoru. "I'm sorry to say this, but even though you're my biological father, let's not forget that you weren't there with Mom when she gave birth to us, making her work herself to raise twin children for 4 years. Tell me." Aqua looked directly at the silver-haired man, daring him to interrupt. "Tell me, where were you in these past 4 years?" Minoru smiled at those words, memories flooding back like a river during the time Aqua had just mentioned. The smell of gunpowder, the screams of injured men, the suffocating air as he wore that mask in the desert heat, taking a lot of damage to his body. He remembered being in the hot seat of a stolen fighter jet, engaging in dogfights to protect an airplane carrying hostages and someone he knew, just escaping from a US military base. Yet, he wouldn't use any of it as an excuse for not taking care of his newborn children. Chuckling, Minoru admitted, "Well, you're right about me being the worst scumbag. I've only recently started living with all of you and being arrogant. But what I want to say is that I don't need a drawn-out character development to take care of my family, and I have to take care of you, unconditionally." Aqua clicked his tongue at his words, feeling regretful for what he had said earlier. Sorry. Did he just hear Aqua apologize? Minoru chuckled again, "Honestly, I don't have any intention of stopping you. But I have to tell you, your plan is completely useless." Aqua narrowed his eyes once more. Minoru continued, "The person you're looking for is now at the bottom of Tokyo Bay, which means he's dead." "What did you?" Aqua's mouth dropped open in shock, causing him to accidentally spill a quarter of the sodas onto the car's floor as it came to a stop at a red light. Shit. Aqua cursed, and Minoru sighed. "Dude, you had one job." Minoru sighed, "I trusted you as a human cup holder since this car only has one, and it's *King useless." "Ah, gosh." Minoru slapped his face in disappointment, noting that he was a perfectionist who loved his harem oops, all his cars. Aqua's face was sweating with embarrassment. Wait. It's not the time for that. You said the person is dead. Not the time for that, hey. Minoru's face couldn't believe it. Yeah, he's dead. End of the story. Look how I ended your revenge story just like that. Aqua laughed slowly and said, "Bullshit. You think I'll believe it just like that? Well, it's up to you. And I don't like attitude at all. You should appreciate this art, man," Minoru said as he started driving again. As Aqua contemplated his words that the person he was looking for was dead, he said, "Art? I don't understand rich people's culture at all. At least I appreciate more than you when it comes to mom's job. After all, I'm a man with culture." Man with culture, hey. Minoru sensed something was wrong. "Say, you're not deciding to become an idol, are you?" Aqua shrugged. Wait. I need to think about what you just said. You just said it's bullshit." "Ah, shit. I'm not being racist, but I can't imagine my son dancing like a pretty boy." Aqua honestly felt a little offended. Why is that wrong thing to do? Well, yeah. I agree that job isn't stable at all. Aqua paused as he thought about it. What kind of future did he want? Regardless of how he knew about it, or how he killed the person. Looking out the car window to his left, he said, "I wanted to become a doctor." An obstetrician-gynecologist was his past life. Maybe he wanted to surpass his past. Minoru smiled. "That's better. Just in case, to make sure you're not walking in that path, I'll show you something." Aqua sighed as Minoru seemed to doubt him becoming an idol. "It's not me you have to worry about since the one who wants to be an idol is Ruby." As Aqua said it, his survival instinct kicked in. He saw Minoru seemed displeased with Ruby being an idol compared to him. "I'm not approving at all. Hear me out, Aqua. If I die, you have to stop Ruby at all costs. Or you just kill her fans in my regards. Chill out." Aqua said as he slurped down his soda. As they cruised from Shibuya to Minato, Aqua's anticipation grew. Eventually, they arrived at what seemed to be a colossal warehouse near the expressway, resembling an abandoned factory. Aqua couldn't shake the eerie feeling that it might be a spot for psychopaths to conceal their victims. "Don't tell me that." Aqua started sweating bullets when he recalled the chat where Minoru straight up told him the person he was searching for is **Ked up. "We're here," Minoru announced, getting out of the car. "What are you doing?" "Get out," he urged, slamming the car door. "Shit," Aqua sighed, taking a deep breath. **K it, let's do this." Standing side by side, they faced the imposing entrance of the warehouse. As the massive door slowly creaked open, darkness initially greeted them. However, when Minoru flipped the switch, the space revealed itself. Aqua was dumbfounded as he looked around and didn't find a dead body or something. Instead, he found a lot of cars all covered up. "What is this place?" It looked more like a car workshop or something. "There's a car lift and many tools for mechanics." He looked further from the ground floor to the second floor, which could be seen from a big void, noticing a pool table, bars, and other entertainment. "Welcome to my secret spot," Minoru chuckled. "Oh, wait till we unveil all those covers, and don't spill this place to your mom." As time passed, Aqua and Minoru explored the collection. Aqua marveled at the modified JDM cars like Skyline R34, S14, Evo 9, FDRX7, NSX, and Supra MK4, all geared for drifting. "If you ask me about culture," Minoru explained as they walked around, "this is my culture. As an engineer, I like building racing cars. These tuned-up cars are for drifting. Anyway, this is my harem." Suddenly, Aqua halted, fixating on a covered car. "What happened to this car?" "Ah, long story. Something happened and I crashed it on a date with your mom," Minoru chuckled, unveiling an AE86. "We'll use another car. Come on, choose what you like." That one. I like the blue one." "Nice choice. Then let's go." Approaching the dark blue Skyline R34, Aqua couldn't help but wonder about Minoru's intentions. "Hey, where are we going? And can I use a child seat?" "This seat is not meant for me," Aqua squirmed in the uncomfortable bucket seat. Minoru revved the engine. "Look, Aqua, your first life lesson is that a drift car doesn't have a baby seat," he laughed. "Anyway, we're going to the mountain." Aqua raised a brow. "Mountain? At this time of night?" Minoru grinned like a devil. A/N. Crap, I forgot to upload. Anyway, hope you enjoy this chapter. Spoiler ahead. Chapter 50, Drift King. Creator's thoughts. Livis. Like it. Add to library. Comment. 33 comment. Vote. Chapter 54, Chapter 50, Drift King. Hey AI. So comfy. Closing her eyes with a contented sigh, AI felt the warmth as she immersed herself in the inviting bath. Instantly, her fatigue disappeared. However, that comforting sensation couldn't fill the void of emptiness in her heart, persisting despite learning more and more about him. James Moriarty. AI opened her eyes, steam clouding her view of the luxurious bathroom. And he's a professor too. I feel tricked, AI pouted. The weight of his background added immense pressure. And a month ago, AI discovered Minoru was actually crazy rich. Did she even deserve to stand by his side when she was just an idol? She cherished her job and took pride in it, but compared to him, she felt like a nobody. "Mama, why are you saying Dad's other name?" Ruby looked up, sensing AI's confusion. "You know Papa's other name." AI was shocked to learn that Ruby knew about it. "Yeah, I found out when Aqua discovered Dad's background." "Aqua did? Then, am I the only one who doesn't know yet?" HMMPH. "Well, if not for Aqua, I'd probably be in the same boat as Mama. TCH, my gloomy Unii-chan." "Oh, that's right. Unii-chan seems different after that day. Is he alright?" AI worried briefly, but then she realized that they were probably having a peaceful conversation between father and son. She could relax about it. "Come to think of it, Mama." AI looked down as Ruby became excited in her embrace. "How did you both meet for the first time? And what was he like back then?" AI chuckled and then pouted. "That's why I felt betrayed. Your papa is not the person I thought he was because Minoru-kun I knew back then was the opposite, like oil and water." AI sighed. "Minoru-kun I knew. I thought he was just a naughty teenager who didn't go to school and became a neat. A person who only liked racing and sleeping at his girlfriend's apartment for free, which was my apartment. Who knew he was someone amazing?" The truth was AI didn't tell Ruby everything, that Minoru had already been drinking alcohol at that time. "Dad was that bad?" "That sounds impossible." AI expected that reaction from Ruby. Even a 4-year-old like her felt that it was ridiculous, but AI had experienced it. "Then, how did you fall in love?" At that question, AI blushed. I wasn't planning on sharing this, but my adorable daughter brought it up. Let me think. Your dad was never interested in me as an idol. Minoru-kun just saw me as a regular girl back in those days. Haha, I don't know why I'm saying all this. It's a bit embarrassing." Ruby smiled. "No, I think that was cute." "Hehe, but Ruby, you know what? Your dad is such a bully." I hope you don't become like him. Never. That's also a prayer for Aqua. Dash. About that, I nailed it about him. Wait. Time out, time out. Ah. Stop the car. The desperate cry came from Aqua, a 4-year-old boy seated on the left side of the driver, gripping the 5-point seat belt tightly. The force exerted by Minoru, navigating the Nissan Skyline R34 along the empty hill road at Mount Akina, proved too much for the little guy. Hat. Minoru smirked, twisting the steering wheel and downshifting the car's gear. The dark blue vehicle executed a drift, its rear sliding, emitting screeching noises. The roar of the RB engine and the turbo echoed through the mountain. Despite the intense driving, the 2 cups of soda they bought from McRonald didn't spill a drop. As he drove, Minoru found it oddly enjoyable. Racing through the mountains wasn't his usual scene. Normally, there would be another vehicle tailing him, unfriendly people, guns firing, or aggressive cars slamming into his bumper as he attempted to escape. Not bad at all. Minoru's smirk widened as he increased the speed, much to the displeasure of the silver-haired boy beside him. Meanwhile, a little further down the road, a customized black Nissan 350Z smoothly glided through the corner. Ryuju Momo, the daughter of a well-known Yakuza clan, a girl with cyan hair sporting a hat, was behind the wheel as she remarked. Ha, those bastards still have a long way to catch up to my speed. Dismissing the race as dull, Momo glanced at her rear-view mirror, realizing she was far ahead of the others. But then, her father's words echoed in her mind. TCH. What does he think of me? Good husband my ass. He's just selling me out to some creepy old bastard. No way I'll accept a man like that. Momo refused to be treated as a pawn for the clan. Her criteria are pretty simple, a guy who shares the same passion as her. Maybe someone like Yanagi-sensei. She starts reminiscing about 2 days ago when he rode her dirt bike, speeding through Shuchiin Forest as fast as he could. She even recalls feeling a bit embarrassed because she hugged him tightly, not entirely trusting anyone else to drive but herself. No. I'm not a simp. I doubt even Yanagi-sensei is people like me. He's more of a prince type, riding horses, sitting behind a desk, reading books. Well, he's good with motorcycles, but who knows if he's willing to get his hands dirty with oil. Momo has a deep love for racing cars and takes joy in building them from scratch, just like her current vehicle. Having gone undefeated in numerous drifting competitions, she earned the title DK, signifying Drift King. Despite her unmatched skills, Momo remains grounded and humble. But she actively seeks a racer whom she believes is hiding somewhere, yet has not found a worthy challenger. In pursuit of this elusive competitor, she established a club in the heart of Tokyo, an underground place that has now become a hot spot for parties and a hub for drifters. But seriously, something's up. All 4 clans are going crazy out of the blue. Like, is it because of that person who messed with Dad, and now he wants me to marry? Ugh, as if. And that bastard Raku, kakak. He's got himself a new fiancée who just rolled to Shuchiin. What's her name again? Ah, whatever. Momo remained frustrated about her father's attempts to matchmake her with a stranger. Oh, finally! She exclaimed with a smile. There was a light behind her car and a loud noise from the exhaust. Momo kept glancing at the hood and rearview mirror as the blurry car became clear. That's not them, she squinted her eyes. There's no one using an R34. Well, let's see who you are. The dark blue skyline was now almost touching his hood at Momo's. Don't worry, Aqua, we're almost there, Minoru said with a giggle to his left. Lie. You always said that lie to me all the time. Just stop the car, That's some driving skill. Momo said, becoming serious as she looked ahead. But I'll smoke you with just 2 corners ahead, she declared. She began shifting gears, hit the brakes and she twisted the steering to the left. The car turned right as the rear slid. TCH. You kidding me? Momo looked at her right window, trying to catch a glimpse of the driver, but the blue R34 had tinted windows. Furthermore, the car slid exactly beside her, almost kissing each other. Shit, give me some space. Momo roared. The adrenaline pumped up as the black and blue cars drifted through the mountain road. Left turn, right turn, left turn, right turn. Momo realized that she hadn't outrun the blue car as she had hoped. What the heck? Who is this foo *Kerr? Damn it! I am the fastest driver in Tokyo. I am DK, Raijo Momo. This unknown driver kept putting a lot of pressure on her. Momo began sweating hard. Moreover, their distance never changed since the beginning. Every turn and even straight line she went through, the blue car was always behind and beside her. Ah, shit. All the pressure from the blue car made Momo make a mistake. She was late at braking, resulting in her car going wide at the corner. The blue R34 happily passed her. After some time, it began to create some distance, making Momo frustrated as she kept pushing to the limit. Dad. I'm sorry, okay. Just pull over the car. Aqua begged, feeling his life at stake. He looked to his right. Common sense. Put down that burger and come back to your senses, Dad. Aqua felt a chill when he looked at Minoru. It was a scary scene. Literally, they were driving like crazy up and down the hill road. Yet, Aqua watched as the driver munched his cheeseburger with his right hand like it was just a relaxing ride in the afternoon. Oh. Minoru laughed. Now you're calling me Dad again, hey? Please say, I'm sorry, Dad. I'll be more polite and show more respect to you. Say that, and I'll pull over. Aqua clenched his jaw at how much of a bully Minoru was. I'm sorry, Dad. I'll be more polite and show more respect to you. You said sorry, but your tone is not polite at all. Aqua wanted to cry, even though he was an adult. If his former self met this man, he swore that he'd beat the crap out of him. Meanwhile, Momo began to come back to her senses as she slowed down. The upcoming corner was a sector of this mountain she hadn't mastered yet, but the blue R34 wasn't slowing down. Is he new on this road, or does he not know about that sector? Momo began to feel nervous. After that slow right, there's a sharp left ahead. If he's that fast, there's not enough space to slow down. Momo watched as the blue R34 slid to the right. Fu *k. He's new here. There's no doubt he might end up deep in the cliff. Momo widened her eyes as she watched that car suddenly control the slide to the opposite, sliding to the left. Na nani. She couldn't believe it as she hit the brakes and watched the blue car drift and vanish from her sight. Inertia drift. She wondered with her mouth agape at how the driver pulled it off. Her car finally stopped as she processed that sight. DK my ass. Silence. I'm not worthy of that name. Momo watched in silence as she stopped before that corner. Dash. A/N. Power stones. By the way, I've read all the comments, and thanks a bunch for the feedback. Just to clear things up, I included his alias in case you're feeling a bit confused. Creator's thoughts. Livis. Like it. Add to library. Comment. 34 comment. Vote. Chapter 55, Chapter 51, What Are You? The unmistakable sound of debris crackling filled the air as the dark blue R34 slowed down with style. Ugh, he held his mouth, ready to vomit. Aqua's head was spinning, and he didn't even have an appetite for that cheeseburger anymore. No. Don't throw up in my car, Minoru said as he stepped out of the car. With trembling hands, Aqua quickly disconnected the 5-point seatbelt that hugged him. His gaze was blurred as he found the door handle. Click. He got out with a thud, crashing to the ground before vomiting. I wonder where that spirit has gone. Minoru, leaning on the car, lit up his cigarette and asked Aqua without even looking, you sure want to kill someone? What he meant was, Aqua, you're weak. And the boy understood the unspoken message as he gazed at the ground with his vomit there. Why? Ugh. Aqua wiped his drool as he got up. Why is it wrong for me to get angry? This is my pride as a man. Do you think I'll stand aside, knowing the culprit is living a quiet life somewhere? With his gaze fixed on Tokyo's bright night, Minoru said, men will never achieve anything when driven by uncontrolled rage. He exhaled smoke, emphasizing, rage is fuel that needs to be controlled by a clear mind and patience. I won't give examples. There are many examples of men falling and gaining nothing because of their uncontrolled rage. Aqua watched Minoru's back as the wind fluttered his silver hair as he asked, then what should I do now? Continue with your life and don't forget what just happened. You have a mother and sister to take care of now. I understand that you're angry, but... Minoru closed his eyes, inhaling the smoke before exhaling it. You no longer have an enemy. I don't have an enemy. You have no enemy. Aqua clenched his fist as he absorbed Minoru's words. Logically, Aqua was aware of Minoru's wealth and guessed that he had many ways to eliminate the culprit quietly. He couldn't accept how helpless he was. Did you, really kill him? Minoru remained silent. Just who are you, anyway? Does it matter? I've already explained. Batman. What I'm trying to ask. Who are you literally? It's been a month since Mom almost got killed. By this alone, that means you got rid of the mastermind in less than a month? Even the police, they can't do such a thing. Let's not forget the stalker named Kiera Ryasuke. He recalled that day when he saw Minoru closing AI's ex-apartment door with an emotionless face and Ryasuke by his side. Aqua connected the dots, suspicious of someone who could eliminate the culprit quietly and act as carefree as Minoru did. Aqua squinted at Minoru. The police found Ryasuke's lifeless body and ruled it a suicide. But I doubt it, and my doubt grows if the mastermind is dead, as you said. Therefore. Aqua stared at the silver-haired man, clearly doubting his dad's identity. He wouldn't let this slide. What are you? Minoru nonchalantly opened his ashtray, extinguishing the cigarette until it lost its embers. You sound like an officer extracting information from a criminal. Did you pick that up from a novel? But I wonder if my son is an actual genius or... Minoru locked his left red eye onto Aqua. Even beyond that. Aqua felt a chill as Minoru's gaze alone made the gravity around him heavier. But what made Aqua nervous were his last words. Minoru was already in front of him, and Aqua couldn't read his face at all or figure out how he should react. Even beyond that. Minoru had always been curious about the uniqueness of his children. Initially, he accepted their genius status might be due to his lineage. However, over time, he observed them closely and became a bit suspicious. Aqua sweated bullets under Minoru's crimson eyes. He had always been prepared for this. The thought had crossed his mind countless times that his parents would eventually discover something unusual about their children. Unlike him, Serena wouldn't get caught, being the innocent kid she was. He was confident that Minoru and AI would never grow too suspicious of Ruby. However, Aqua's case was far different than Serena's. He was an adult, a responsible doctor who had passed away before AI gave birth to her twins, and somehow, he had reincarnated as her son. Aqua couldn't be as pure as Ruby. Aqua knew Minoru was different from AI. He had learned a bit about his dad. Yanagi Minoru was a name on a Japanese passport, but it was overshadowed by his other identity, James Moriarty. Aqua delved into the internet and discovered that his dad was a young genius who earned his PhD in his teens. He even knew that Minoru was often referred to as Professor Moriarty. He couldn't compare his past life to Minoru. But with this, Aqua knew he couldn't fool a man like him. I'm. Aqua shuddering, unable to confess. He thought he was prepared, but he wasn't. Aqua couldn't fathom AI's reaction to the revelation that her son was not what she thought. Humans and their curiosity. Aqua. Minoru observed the pale boy below and decided to end the conversation. Let's. He stopped, hearing the loud revving engine approaching this remote place. He remembered those cars as he smocked them. Get in the car. It wasn't a suggestion, it was an order. Aqua snapped back to his senses, gazing at Minoru's poker face. A chill ran down his spine. Ah yes. Aqua rushed to the car without question, and soon enough, the owners of the cars stepped out. Hey? It turns out to be Yanagi-sensei. Ha ha ha. I never thought you'd be driving, besides riding a horse like an imaginary prince, het. Said a teenager with dyed blonde hair, a trained physique, and a red tracksuit. Yamamoto Masa and the others. Minoru gazed at them, maintaining his poker face. Is this how you treat people? I'm sure you didn't come here to invite me to play baseball with that barbed wire bat. Ryujo Momo's underlings, the ones he had beaten and taken the bike keys from as a disciplinary action. Meanwhile, Aqua observed from inside the car as Minoru stood alone against the armed naughty teenager.
Thanks for listening.